Hey there, lantern lovers! Welcome back to another electrifying episode of our mind-bending series, What If? I'm your host, Chronos, and today, oh boy, do we have a treat for you. But first, a huge shout out to the mastermind behind this incredible concept, R. Smalls. Thanks for keeping our imagination soaring. Now, picture this: what if Deku, our favorite green-haired hero, traded in his trusty suit for a power ring? That's right, folks. We're diving deep into the cosmos to explore the epic crossover you never knew you needed. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on an adventure that'll leave you breathless. Chapter 1 and 2. Chosen. Near Venus. Power ring user's vitals fading, transmitting location for immediate pickup. The green glow a ring shown in space. I have to get somewhere safe or else they will take the ring. A green man with 3 eyes said, badly injured from a fight with something. Ring, where is the nearest inhabited world? He asked. Scanners show Earth as the next inhabited world, approximately 207 million miles from here. The ring somehow responded. Perfect, take me there. It may be time to find a new green lantern. Begin searching for a new user when we are close. The mystery person said, coughing blood. Earth. Izuku Midoriya. At a young age, he was destined to become a nobody. Losing both parents at the age of 4, he was given up to an orphanage. Being in the system didn't help. Bouncing from home to home, family to family, no one wanted him because he was quirkless. Left to suffer alone at the orphanage, even worse at school. He eventually made a friend, Bakugo or Kaken. He lived nearby so they would regularly play together, but he too would pick on him for being quirkless. As the years went on, things only got worse. Izuku eventually came to the realization that he would have no family and no true friends. He found solace with the only person who treated him like a person, Sister Maria. She was a young sister who worked for the orphanage. She would regularly read to Izuku and teach him. Izuku walked home after another day of bullying. His friend Kaken was the worst. He'd known his since they were little kids, but ever since he found out Izuku was quirkless, he picked on his. Kaken was determined to make sure Izuku's dreams of becoming a hero were destroyed. You will never amount to anything, Deku. You got that? Don't even think of applying to UA. If you do, I will make sure to beat you to a pulp. Got it? Kaken's voice still played inside Izuku's mind, playing over and over. Maybe he's right. I think I should just give up. I'll ever become a hero. Izuku walked down an alley, unaware that a villain was slowly approaching him from behind. Got you, kid! Before Izuku could turn around, the sludge villain had captured him. Easy, kid, this will only hurt a lot. The villain slowly began to squeeze the life out of Izuku. With every breath, he felt the villain tighten his grip on his body. I guess this is it. I always thought I would die of old age. Oh well, maybe in my next life I can finally have a quirk. Izuku stopped struggling, accepting his fate. Unfortunately for him, fate had other plans for him. Fear not, my boy. Why? Because I am here. The voice of All Might roared through the alleyway. Detroit smash! All Might punched the villain with such force that Izuku was freed from his grasp. Falling to the ground, Izuku gasped for air. All Might! He couldn't believe it. His favorite hero of all time had just saved him. All Might quickly placed the sludge villain into a small bottle for easy transport. Can I get your autograph? He asked, holding out a notebook he pulled out of his backpack. Of course, young man. I always have time for a fan. All Might grabbed the notebook and signed his name across 2 pages. Handing it back to the Izuku, he couldn't contain himself. It was like seeing someone who just won the lottery. If that's all, I will take my leave. Crime won't stop itself, you know. See you later, kid. Izuku quickly snapped out of being starstruck. Wait. I have a question I want to ask you. All Might was about to jump away when he stopped. Sure, I got time. What is it, boy? All Might tucked away the villain in his pocket, making sure he wouldn't get away. Is it possible for a quirkless person to become a hero? Izuku's voice was quiet, almost passive. All Might's eyes went wide. Quirkless? So he's one of the 20%. He shook his head. I'm sorry, young man, but no, I don't think so. Without a quirk, you couldn't be a hero no matter how hard you try. If you want to help people become a police officer, they accept quirkless people. It may not be as glamorous as being a hero, but you will still help people. I'll be going now, farewell. Off he went. All Might jumped away, leaving poor Izuku in the alley to his own thoughts. Alone in the alley, Izuku didn't move from where he stood. I get it. Someone as useless as I am could never be a hero, even All Might said himself. I get it now why Bakugo and all the other kids picked on me. This is just how things are meant to be, I guess. Izuku walked down the street with his head down. As he walked down the street, he heard an explosion coming from a nearby store. At first he was going to ignore it until he heard an all-too-familiar voice coming from the store. "You bastard, let me go! I will blow you apart!" It was Bakugo. Somehow the sludge villain had escaped from All Might and captured Bakugo. Izuku watched in horror as his friend was being taken over by the sludge villain. How? All Might should have taken him to the police station by now. So what happened, and where is he? He saw all of the pro-heroes at the scene did nothing. Why aren't they doing anything? Izuku disliked Bakugo, but not enough to let him die. Izuku ran past the pro-heroes. Throwing his backpack, he landed a hit and the sludge villain's eye. Gah! My eye, who did that? Izuku ran towards the villain, scratching at the villain to release his friend to no avail. Deku? What are you doing here, you useless piece of shit? Bakugo yelled. Trying to save you. You know why? Because I am here. Izuku smiled. Faced with his greatest fear, he smiled. How very brave of you, young man. You are all that embodies a hero. However, why don't you leave this to the heroes? California Smash! With another powerful punch, All Might blew the sludge villain off of Bakugo. This time, making sure he wouldn't escape, he locked him away with the help of the police. Izuku and Bakugo were both given a good talking to, especially Izuku when they found out he was quirkless. Listen, kid, what you did was just plain stupid. Without a quirk, you could have gotten hurt. Lucky for you, All Might was nearby to step in and help you. Next time you may not be all that lucky. After a few minutes, they were both allowed to leave. Izuku walked down the street with a frown on his face. Could this day get any worse? Making it to the orphanage, he opened the door to be greeted by Sister Maria. Oh, hello Izuku, welcome back. How was your day? Maria smiled, a rather tall woman with her long brown hair and brown-colored eyes. It was good. I met All Might when he saved me from a villain, he said, placing his backpack on the floor. A villain? Maria ran to Izuku, checking his body. Are you alright? Did he hurt you? Let me check. No, maybe we should go to the hospital to be safe. Her muttering never ceases to amaze him. I'm fine, Maria. All Might saved me before anything could happen. Izuku smiled, knowing that her worrying was a sign that she cared for him. Are you sure? She asked, stopping and looking into his eyes. He nodded. Alright, then go change and get the little ones ready for dinner in an hour. Izuku went upstairs where all the rooms were located. Once in his room, he closed the door and collapsed onto his bed. I think I should take a nap. Falling asleep, he dreamed of becoming a hero, of what could have been. After 40 minutes, he was woken to the sound of laughing. Huh! He looked around to find Lisa and Levi about to ride on his face. What are you two doing? Nothing. Lisa and Levi were twins who were abandoned by their family for whatever reason. Izuku was a sort of big brother to them, so they would follow him around. Oh, really? Then what about that marker in your hands? Izuku pointed at the marker in Lisa's hand. The two just whistled and pretended they had no idea what he was talking about. Fine, don't tell me, but it's almost dinner time. Get yourselves washed up, he said, getting off the bed. All right, the twins said in unison as they ran out of the room. A few minutes later, Izuku had called all the other kids to go wash up and head downstairs for dinner. The dinner table was long enough to fit 40 people at once. Izuku let the smaller kids get their share of food first before allowing himself to get something. Usually he would get very little since he would be the last one, but he didn't mind as long as the little ones got their fill. After dinner, Izuku would walk down to the beach and sit near the cliff's edge overlooking the ocean and watched as the sun set every day. I guess things could be worse. I should always look at the bright side, as Sister Maria always says. Izuku closed his eyes and the darkness began to take over the sky. Boom! Izuku woke up to a loud sound. What was that? He looked around but saw nothing, until he looked up. There a green ball of something was coming down, burning up as it entered the atmosphere. It looks like an asteroid? Wait, is it heading over here? The object got closer and closer. Izuku saw this and began to run for cover, throwing himself to the ground. Just then the object struck the cliff, breaking off a good portion of it. The green glow was still there and pulsating rapidly. Curious and thinking it was an asteroid, Izuku approached it slowly. As he got closer, he noticed that it wasn't an asteroid but rather a person. Hey, are you alright? He asked the green man with 3 eyes. Whoever it was, they were badly injured and need help fast. Wait here, I'll go get help. As he was about to leave, a hand reached out and stopped Izuku from leaving. "Don't go." The green man's voice was quiet. Mustering up his strength, he spoke once again. "I need to give you something first before it's too late." The man raised his hand up to reveal a green ring with a symbol in the middle. "What is that?" Izuku asked. Before he could ask anything else, the ring began to float in the air, glowing green. It began to scan Izuku with a green light before speaking. "Izuku Midoriya of Earth, you have the power to overcome great fear. You have been chosen." The ring flew onto Izuku's right ring finger. "Welcome to the Green Lantern Corps." A green ball of energy covered Izuku completely. After a second, it disappeared to reveal Izuku in an all-green suit with the symbol on his chest and a mask covering his face. "What is this?" Izuku looked at his hands and legs covered in all green. "You are now a Green Lantern, protectors of the universe. You young men are destined for great things. I wish you the best of luck." Those were the final words that the green man spoke before dying. Chapter 3: First Flight. First Flight. Izuku stood on the cliff in disbelief, that is until he heard the sound of police sirens approaching. Taking off the ring, Izuku dusted himself off. "I need to get out of here." Looking back at the now core, he saw a lantern. "I should take that, it looks important." Grabbing it, Izuku ran down the cliff towards the beach. He'd go the long way to get home. Making his way back to the orphanage, Izuku snuck in and went straight to his room. Putting the ring and lantern on his desk, he threw himself onto the bed, exhausted. "Man, what a night! I'd better sleep it off. I'll test what that ring can do tomorrow." It was early in the morning when Lisa and Levi snuck into Izuku's room. "See, I told you he's still asleep," Levi said, standing next to Izuku. "He should be awake by now." Lisa pouted, seeing Izuku was being lazy. She then looked around his room and saw the lantern and ring. "Hey, what's that?" she said, picking up the lantern. "It looks like a lantern. Where did Izuku get this?" Levi wondered, looking at the ring. "It looks expensive. You don't think he stole this, right?" "Izuku would never do anything like that," Lisa said, yelling at her brother. This made Izuku turn in the bed. "See, you almost woke him up," she said, but now in a much lower volume. "But you're the one who yelled," Levi said, putting back the ring. "But you're right, Izuku would never steal anything." Lisa nodded. "That's right, so what do you say you want to wake him up and find out where he got it?" She smiled, putting back the lantern. Levi nodded, knowing what his sister wanted to do. They carefully got on top of his bed without waking him up. "Ready, 1, 2, 3, go!" They both jumped into the air and came down hard on Izuku's stomach, waking him up in the most brutal way they could think of. "Wake up, Izuku!" they both yelled. Izuku grunted in pain when he felt all that weight suddenly on his stomach. "I thought I told you not to do that anymore." They jumped off of the bed. "Yeah, but it's more fun waking you up like this," Lisa said, laughing. Izuku sighed. "What am I going to do with you two?" Izuku got up to go to the restroom. "Izuku, where did you get the ring and lantern?" Levi pointed at them. Izuku's eyes went wide. "Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, those things, I found them on the beach. They looked cool, so I brought them back." "I see. Well, you do have a thing for bringing back junk. Just make sure Sister Maria doesn't find out. You already know how scary she can be," Lisa said, shivering. "Yeah, I know. Now it's almost time for breakfast." Izuku led the twins to the dining hall where they had breakfast. Izuku only ate an apple and a piece of toast, but it was enough. Izuku went to school, got bullied, and went back to the orphanage just like any other day. It was now night time when Izuku decided to test out the ring. "I don't know how, but this ring has some incredible power. I felt last night when I put it on." Taking a deep breath, Izuku put on the ring. As soon as he did, his body was covered in a green light. After a second or two, he reemerged with a green suit, a mask covering his mask, and the mark of the Green Lantern Corps on his chest. "This is awesome!" After a minute, Izuku calmed down. "I wonder if I can fly? That guy from yesterday fell from the sky, so I wonder." Izuku looked at the open window. The window was large enough for him to jump out of. Izuku walked to the far edge of the room. Taking a deep breath, Izuku ran towards the window, jumping out. For a split second it looked like Izuku was flying, but he quickly realized that he was falling towards the floor. "OSH*T!" Izuku yelled as he fell towards the ground. "Come on! Come on! Fly! Fly!" Izuku closed his eyes and braced for impact, but it never came. What happened?" Opening his eyes, Izuku noticed he stopped just short of hitting the ground and was no hovering. This is a start, now how do I fly? Izuku thought about pushing his body upward, and the ring responded to his thoughts and made him fly up. Cool, so the ring responds to my thoughts. Izuku was starting to get the hang of flying. He decided to fly over the nearby city. Wow, this is amazing. I wish the twins can see this. He went lower, flying between buildings. That's when he heard a yell. Stopping mid-air, Izuku looked around, trying to find the source of the yell. Where did that come from? The ring began to glow and created a green arrow pointing to the left. Cool, I'd better go see what's going on. Izuku hovered over an alleyway. Below him he saw a girl being chased by two thugs. Oh no, she needs help. Without hesitation, Izuku flew down towards the alley. The young girl ran down the alley as fast as she could, holding onto her purse. No, I can't let them have it. All my money my dad gave me for the apartment is in here. He's spent too many hours working to get me to UA, and I won't let them take it. She ran fast, maybe a little too fast. Turning the corner, she fell, twisting her ankle. She tried to get up but couldn't put any pressure on her foot. That's when the two thugs caught up to her. Man, you run fast, the shark-faced thug said, catching her breath. No kidding, I almost gave up chasing you, said the thug with sharp scissors for fingers. But now you go nowhere to run, so hand over the bag. As the two thugs approached her, the girl closed her eyes, not wanting to see what was going to happen to her. Suddenly a green light shined on the group. The two thugs looked up to see Izuku floating down and getting in front of the girl. I'd leave her alone if I were you. What the hell, what's a hero doing here? The shark-faced thug said, stepping back. I've never seen you before, and I know every hero in the city, and you aren't one of them. So that means you're nobody. Get him! The two jumped at Izuku only to get hit by a giant green boxing glove, sending them flying towards the wall. Awesome, all I have to think about doing it, and the ring makes it happen. Izuku then turned to the scared girl. Hey, are you alright? The girl opened her eyes to reveal Izuku in front of her, offering a hand. Why yeah, I'm fine thanks to you. Thank you, she took his hand and dusted herself off. Wow, she's cute, Izuku looked at the girl. And no problem. Now I suggest you call the police to come pick these two up. Izuku pointed at the now unconscious thugs. Yeah, thank you. Who are you anyway? She asked. Oh, I'm Green Lantern. He quickly corrected himself when he noticed he was about to expose himself. Well, thank you, Green Lantern. My name is Uraraka Ochako. You really saved me. Wait, where's my purse? Oh no, the money. Uraraka's face began to fill with worry. Don't worry, I got it. Ring, find her purse. With a green glow, the ring scanned the nearby area. When it found the purse, it picked it up and brought it to Uraraka. Here you go, miss. Uraraka grabbed it, then hugged it. Oh, thank you so much. If you don't mind me asking, shouldn't you put that much money in the bank? Izuku asked. I was until those two chased me down. The money is for an apartment I'm renting for when I get into UA, said Uraraka. I see, so you're an aspiring hero then. That's good, we need more heroes in this world. Well, if that's all, I'll be taking my leave then. Make sure you call the police, Uraraka. Goodbye. And with that, Izuku jumped into the fly and took off. Wow, he can fly. He said his name was Green Lantern. Never heard of him. Must be a new hero in the city. Uraraka took out her phone and began to call the police. No more than 3 minutes had passed when the police showed up along with the pro-hero Eraserhead. After arresting the two, they went over to Uraraka to take a statement. So, Miss Uraraka, can you tell us what happened? A rather tall man in a trench coat said, with pen and paper in hand. So I was going to the bank to put in some money when those two attacked me. It seemed they wanted my purse, but instead of giving it to them, I took off running and ended up here. That's when I fell, twisting my ankle. Seeing that I could no longer run, the two thugs were about to take my things when a hero came by to help me, she said as the detective wrote down everything. A hero, you say? Eraserhead said, raising an eyebrow. Yeah, he had a green suit with a weird logo on his chest. Oh, and a ring that could do some really cool stuff, Uraraka explained. There was no hero reported in this area. Did he say his name? Eraserhead said. Yeah, he said it was Green Lantern. Eraserhead and the detective looked at each other, not knowing who that was. Looks like we got a vigilante on our hands, the detective said, closing his notebook. So it seems, great, not another one, Eraserhead said, sighing. Wait, so he wasn't a hero? I knew he looked too young to be one. He had to be at least my age. Well, whoever you are, thank you, Uraraka said, looking towards the sky. Izuku made his way back to the orphanage. Flying into the window, he landed. Man, what a day! I can't believe I actually saved someone from real villains. As he was talking to himself, the ring's green light began to flicker and then disappear. What happened? Izuku was now wearing his normal clothes. Izuku looked at the ring. Maybe it has a battery. Great, how am I going to power up a ring? He walked back and forth in his room thinking of a way to charge the ring. That's when the lantern began to glow. What the? Izuku got closer. I can feel it talking to me. He raised the ring to the lantern. In brightest day and darkest night no evil shall escape my might. The lantern began to glow brighter and brighter. Let those who worship evil beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Izuku could feel the power coursing into the ring glowing brighter with every second until finally it recharged completely. Oh, I see, so it's like some sort of ring power battery. Good to know. Izuku had enough excitement for one night. Taking off the ring, he threw himself onto his bed to sleep. OA. 6 blue guardians sat on tall pillars with a giant Green Lantern power battery in the background. It seems we have a new member of the Corp, one of the guards said. So it seems, we must have someone bring back the new Green Lantern. It looks like he's on the planet called Earth, said another. Very well, Kilowog, take a task force to bring our new lantern here. The guardian gestured down to a tall alien with a bulldog-looking face approached the guards. Thank you, guardians, for this task. I shall leave at once, Kilowog said before turning around and leaving. Chapter 4, Otherworlders. Otherworlders. Izuku spent the next couple of days secretly training with the ring at night when everyone was asleep. He found that the ring, if pushed too hard, can actually hurt him and his mind, putting a strain on his mind and body. He would fly around the nearby city and stop any villains he would see. Soon he would become known as the vigilante known as Green Lantern. The police wanted to take him in for questioning, but every time they tried he would just fly off before they had the chance to cuff him. They still didn't know what kind of quirk he had, only that he was a young man in his teens and liked the color green. He has even been given awards for his good deeds. He once saved an older couple who ran a bakery from a robbery, and they offered him fresh bread every day. Izuku graciously accepted, and every day he would take the bread back to the orphanage. When Sister Maria asked where he got it, he would also say the same thing, donations. However, there were people who did not like what Izuku was doing, especially pro-heroes. In just a few days, Izuku already had a couple of run-ins with some local heroes. This began to catch the eye of more prominent heroes in the area. Police station. We need to bring him in, Nanomesa said, sitting around a table surrounded by pro-heroes. Other heroes tried multiple times, but he always escapes with the help of his quirk, Eraserhead said, frustrated. You have to admit that quirk is really amazing. I don't know how it works, but he can seemingly make whatever he wants with it. He could even fly, said Midnight. Yes, while his quirk is impressive, what he's doing is not. It's illegal and dangerous. He's putting himself and the public in danger. That's why I brought the big gun to bring him in, Niza said, turning his chair to the door. It will be all right, my fellow heroes. Why? Suddenly the door exploded open. Because I am here. A tall man with a muscular build wearing a bright and colorful costume walked into the room. It was All Might, the #1 hero, and he was here to help. Thank you, All Might, for coming here to help us with this vigilante problem, said Nizu. But of course, I see why you would want my help. This vigilante has been gaining support of the public. If he continues to gain support, it would surely spell disaster later. So how can I help? Later that night, Izuku was flying around the city looking for crime he could stop when he noticed someone waving him down from a balcony. I wonder if they need any help. Flying down, his ring shined a light on the person. Need any help? That's when he noticed who it was. Oh hey, I remember you. Yeah, you're that girl I saved from those guys trying to steal your bag. Uraraka, right? Yeah, that's me. Thanks for saving me. Actually, do you mind turning off that light? It hurts my eyes, Uraraka said, shielding her eyes. Oh right, sorry about that, Izuku said, embarrassed. Anyway, so have you gotten into UA yet? Uraraka chuckled. No, not yet. The exams are in a week, so I still got time to train. Izuku floated down closer. I see, so what's your quirk anyway? Oh, my quirk. Uraraka showed one of her hands. See those little pads at the ends of my fingers? If I touch something with all 5 fingers, I can make them weightless. That's so cool! Izuku sniffed the air. Wait, do I smell something burning? Oh no, the cookies! Uraraka hurried back inside, and after a few seconds she walked out on the balcony with a tray of burnt cookies. Man, I worked so hard on these and now they are ruined. Izuku floated down and landed on her balcony and grabbed a cookie and proceeded to eat it. Hey, they're burnt, they won't taste good, Uraraka said, shocked. Izuku didn't care. He grabbed one after another until there was none left. They were actually pretty good, it was only burned on the surface. He was too poor to care, plus he wasn't a food critic, so everything tasted good to him. Uraraka's face turned red. Why, you really think so? Yup, of course. Man, I wish I could have some more. Izuku smiled. If Izuku learned one thing about living in an orphanage, it's never to waste food. Well, if you want, you can drop by sometime and I can make some, she said, fidgeting. Izuku's eyes gleamed. Really? Can I? Uraraka nodded. Awesome! I'll make sure to come back real soon. Izuku looked down at the construct watch he made and noticed it was getting late. Crap, I should go patrol the city one last time before heading home. I'll see you later, Uraraka. He waved as he took off into the sky. Bye, Green Lantern. Make sure to drop by real soon. She waved as he disappeared from view. Izuku flew into the city looking for any crime in progress. When he found none, he decided to rest on a nearby roof. Man, she was cute. I'm so glad I got to see her again, and I get cookies. This night can't go any better. Sorry to burst your bubble, kid, but it's not going to end how you'd like, a voice behind him said, scaring Izuku. Jesus, you scared me. Izuku looked up to see Eraserhead. Is that you, Eraserhead? The pro hero that can erase quirks temporarily. He was now in full superhero fan mode. Yeah, it's me, and tonight is the night I bring you in. Izuku watched as Eraserhead's hair began to spike up and wave around. His eyes changed colors, signaling the activation of his quirk. Now that he's lost his quirk, I can take him down myself. However, Eraserhead was shocked to see that the green glow around him didn't disappear. What, your quirk should have been erased? Yeah, about that, sorry, but I don't have a quirk. Izuku rubbed the back of his head. What, no quirk? Then how do you explain your powers? Said Eraserhead. I can't really myself, but I do know I get it from this. Izuku held up his hand, showing the Green Lantern ring. A support item then, so that means we can take you down. Eraserhead smiled. We? Just then his ring went off. Danger alert, danger alert. Izuku looked around frantically for the danger but saw nothing. That's when Eraserhead wrapped Izuku in his capture weapon, immobilizing him. What is this stuff? Finally, looking up, Izuku saw him. All Might was flying towards him. All Might! Then he pieced 2 and 2 together. Oh no! Delaware smash! All Might yelled. At the last second, Izuku was able to put up a bubble around him, protecting him from the hit. The hit was strong enough to throw Izuku into a wall, bouncing off of it. Inside the bubble, Izuku gritted his teeth. That's when he saw a crack around the shield. He cracked the shield. He smiled. That's All Might for you. Wow, I can't believe it's actually him. Breaking free of the binding Eraserhead put on him, Izuku landed on the ground. With a loud boom, All Might landed a few feet away. Amazing! You're so amazing! Can I have your autograph? He asked, eyes gleaming with excitement. You do know we are trying to bring you in, right? Said All Might, not knowing how to react to this. What? Why, I've done anything wrong? Said Izuku. Illegal use of your quirk and using it to hurt others. Yes, they were bad guys, but still. You need to go to hero school and have a hero license for that, All Might explained. Yeah, but that costs money, something we don't have, plus I do this for my family. The less they have to deal with, the better. If I can make even the slightest difference in their lives, then I'll gladly break the rules. Clenching his fist, a green aura was seen around Izuku as he readied himself for a fight. I see, so your motives are pure, but that still doesn't change the fact that what you are doing is illegal. So I'm sorry, but I'm bringing you in. California smash! All Might yelled as he ran towards Izuku, ready to knock him out. Izuku pointed the ring at All Might as he created a wall to slow down the hero. Making contact with the wall, All Might noticed it didn't break, rather it only cracked. What? Even if I'm not using my full power, this wall shouldn't be a problem. What is it made of? Sorry about this, All Might, Izuku said, hovering above All Might. Izuku started to cover All Might in a safe. That should keep you in there until I get away. He took off away from All Might. Do you think a safe is enough to stop me? Think again. All Might began to punch the safe from the inside repeatedly. Izuku stopped and looked as the number 1 hero struggled to get out. That's when Izuku noticed something. Those strikes, they're not random, he's hitting the structural weak points. Every time he hits the spot, his strikes are getting stronger. At this rate, he's going to break out. Izuku shot a beam at the safe, repairing it. Eraserhead landed on a nearby roof and watched as Izuku held All Might in a safe, but found something interesting. Why hasn't he flown away yet? Then he noticed Izuku's face. He's focusing hard, that means he has to concentrate in order to use his power, so that means we have a chance. Grabbing a nearby brick, Eraserhead with the help of his capture weapon launched himself towards Izuku, ready to strike him with the brick. Being too focused on All Might, Izuku did not see Aizawa coming, and with a brick strike to the ribs he yelled out in pain, breaking his concentration on All Might. Smash! He yelled out, and with one final strike All Might broke out of the safe. Seeing Aizawa was falling, he jumped up to catch him. Got you. Don't worry about me, take him down! Aizawa yelled as All Might put him down on a roof. Jumping back at Izuku, who was still in pain, All Might managed to neck chop him, rendering him unconscious. Man, he was tougher to take down than I thought, and that quirk really is amazing. I had to use about 50% of my power just to break out of that safe. You can tell me all about it later. For now, let's get him to the police station. And with that, the two heroes took Izuku to the police station. Little did they know the ring around Izuku's finger began to pulse green, sending distress signal. Once there, they tried to take off the ring, but every time they did, it would shoot out a beam of energy, knocking back whoever tried to take off the ring. They even tried to take a blood sample to ID him, but once the needle got close, the ring would create a shell around Izuku, protecting him. Izuku woke up the next morning in a cell with a massive headache. Oh wow, why does my head hurt so much? Looking around, he found his surroundings unfamiliar. Where am I? You're in a cell inside the police station. A voice was heard. Turning to the source, Izuku saw Naomasa through the bars of the cell. Izuku tried to get up but noticed that his hands were in a strange instrument. Those are quirk suppressor cuffs, so don't try to use your quirk. Now I want to ask you a few questions. Sitting up, Izuku stared at the detective. Figured as much. First question, who are you? Asked the detective with a pen and notepad at the ready. Can't say. Izuku looked away. Naomasa sighed. Come on, kid, don't make this harder than it already is. Izuku stayed silent. Fine, next question. Do you want to call a family member or something so they can be here with you? I don't have any family, they're dead. I've been on my own since I was 4, he said with sadness in his voice. I see, I'm sorry. With the help of his quirk, Naomasa could tell what Izuku just said was the truth. Next question, what's your quirk? From what All Might told me, you have quite the quirk. Don't have one, I'm quirkless. Izuku looked away. Truth, but that's impossible. Naomasa's eyes went wide. Then how do you explain your powers? To tell you the truth, I don't know myself, but it has something to do with a ring I have. Izuku looked at his cuffed hands. Truth. So you really are quirkless. Naomasa couldn't believe it. How could a quirkless person have this kind of power? Before he could ask another question, the police station started to shake. What's going on? Just then a police officer ran down the stairs. Sir, we have a problem. Some strange people walked into the station asking where the Green Lantern was. Great, he has a fan club. All right, I'll be right there. Have All Might meet us in the lobby. You will stay here and stay quiet. And with that, Naomasa ran up the stairs, leaving Izuku. I have to get out of these things, come on, focus. The cuffs began to glow green from inside. After a few seconds, the cuffs broke, setting Izuku's hands free. Good, I got to see who's looking for me. Flying upstairs, Izuku heard the sound of gunshots, then silence. Reaching the top of the stairs, Izuku saw All Might being pinned down by 2 people in Green Lantern uniforms. Hey, let him go! Izuku fired a green energy beam that split into 2, hitting them and knocking them back. Easy, kid, we aren't here to fight you, one of them said. Then why are you here? Izuku said, putting up his guard. Just then a Kilowog walked in between them. We're here to take you, kid. You need to go to Oe. You are a Green Lantern, so the Guardians need you to answer a few questions. Can they answer my questions about this ring? Izuku showing the ring. Yes, now will you come with us? Kilowog said, extending out an arm. Very well, I'll go with you, but I need to stop somewhere first. I will need the lantern battery to charge up my ring, Izuku said. Alright, we go there, then you will go to Oi for us, said Kilowog. Lead the way. Izuku turned to the police. Sorry about this, guys, but I got to go. Wait! All Might yelled, trying to stop them from leaving, but it was too late. The group took off into the sky, breaking the ceiling as they went. Izuku led them towards the orphanage, telling them to wait outside. Izuku went in and took off the ring. Sneaking past the twins, Izuku made it upstairs, but to his horror, Sister Maria was waiting for him just outside his room. He prepared himself for a scolding, but instead he was met by her embrace. Midoriya, where have you been? She said as tears fell from her eyes. When you were in your bed last night, I started to get worried, so I went out looking for you. She spent the night looking for me. Izuku hugged Maria back. I'm sorry, Maria, I had to take care of some stuff. The important thing is that you're back, safe and sound, she said, wiping away a tear. Now tell me, where were you? I stayed at a friend's house for the night, Izuku lied. A friend, someone from school? She questioned. Why, yeah. Anyway, they invited me to stay for a week, so I wanted to tell you if I can, Izuku said, muffling the last part. Normally I would say no way, but since I trust you, Izuku, I will allow it. Izuku was surprised, to say the least. This will give you the perfect chance for you to explore what's out there and see what you can become. Thank you, Maria. I love you. Izuku hugged her out of excitement. Later, Izuku gathered his things and walked outside where the group was waiting for him. Are you ready? Kilowog asked. Izuku nodded. Yes, let's go. And with that, Kilowog created a rocket ship construct, and with a loud boom the group took off into space. Chapter 5, Training. Training. Izuku looked on as they zipped past stars and planets. Amazing, he said as the other lanterns chuckled at the newbie lantern. As they slowed down, Izuku looked outside to find a giant planet just ahead that had a strange green glow surrounding it. We're here, kid. Welcome to Oi, home of all the Green Lanterns. As they entered the planet's atmosphere, Izuku watched in amazement. Breaking past the clouds, Izuku saw a grand city with many green lanterns flying around. Wow, how many members are there? Izuku asked. About 7,200 members, and you are the newest, Kilowog said as they landed in the city. Come on, kid, we are going to meet the Guardians. Izuku was escorted through the building. Inside he found many different kinds of aliens, some big, some tiny, others had different colored skin, others with more than 2 eyes or arms. Kilowog looked at Izuku. What's the matter, kid? Never seen aliens before? And no, never. On my planet we don't even know if they even exist. Well, I guess this answers that question. I wonder if they have quirks? What's a quirk? Kilowog asked. Oh, it's like a superpower some humans develop. Their powers can range from being useful in everyday life or good enough to be a hero, Izuku explained. I see, so what's your quirk? Asked another lantern. I don't have one, I never developed one, Izuku said with sadness in his voice. Kilowog saw the sadness in his eyes. Sorry to hear that, kid, but you are now part of something greater. You are now a Green Lantern, he said as they stopped in front of a large double door. Kilowog told the other lantern they can go. Alright, kid, it's time to meet the Guardians. As the doors opened, Izuku swallowed nervously. Walking into the room, 6 large pillars stood around a platform. Kilowog walked Izuku to the center. Guardians, I have returned with the new Green Lantern. On the top the pillars, little blue people appeared on top of the pillars. So this is the lantern. He's so young, are we sure he can actually fulfill his duty as a Green Lantern? One of them said. I've heard of these humans, they think they rule the universe and are overly reliant on their technology. I don't believe he could be a good lantern, another said. Come now, we can't judge him just because of his birth planet. What is your name, boy? My name is Ganthet, he said in a soft voice. I Izuku Midoriya, sir, he said, sweating from his forehead. Izuku Midoriya, I see. We welcome you to the Green Lantern Corp, Ganthet said. I still don't like it. A human wielding a ring, it's just irresponsible, another Guardian said. This started an argument amongst the Guardians if they should allow Izuku to keep the ring. Izuku slumped his shoulders. That's when Kilowog stepped forward. If I may, Guardians, they turned their attention to Kilowog. When we first arrived on Earth, Izuku thought we were an enemy and fought us. During that little fight, he managed to take down 2 lanterns with little effort. I know if given the right training, he will become an amazing lantern. The Guardians spoke amongst themselves. If this is true, Kilowog, then we have truly found a prodigy. Ganthet looked at his fellow Guardians and all nodded. We have decided, Izuku Midoriya of Earth, you are to train under Kilowog until you learn to properly use your powers. Izuku perked up. Why, yes, sir, I will do my best. We will expect nothing but your best, boy. However, a word of warning, Kilowog's training can get a bit difficult, so try to stay alive. And with that, Ganthet and the other Guardians left. Izuku was immediately taken to his new living quarters where he would train with Kilowog. After charging his ring, Izuku met with Kilowog in the training grounds. Alright, newbie, it's time to start your training. The first thing you need to know is that your constructs are only as strong as your will. Right now your constructs are weak. Kilowog created a giant dumbbell that began to fall on Izuku. Izuku quickly created a platform above him, stopping the dumbbell from hitting him, but his legs began to shake from the pressure. Letting the construct disappear, Kilowog got up to Izuku. Since you already know how to fly, we won't go over that, but you need to learn how to handle gravity in space, he said, pointing his ring a bit away from Izuku, and created a small black hole. Taken by surprise, Izuku's feet began to drag on the floor towards the black hole. Thinking for a second, Izuku created a jetpack to keep him from falling into the black hole. Izuku grunted as he pushed himself and the ring. Man, this is difficult. That's what you're going to feel when you travel through space, not even counting suns. Time to move on into combat training, but your guard up, boy, Kilowog said, going into his fighting stance. Izuku awkwardly put up his fists. I've never been in a real fist fight in my life. I need to think about what I'm going to do before he could think about what to do. Kilowog's massive fist hit Izuku in the face, sending him sliding back. I know why your constructs are weak. Kilowog jumped in the air. You overthink everything. He went in for a drop kick Izuku, but he quickly rolled away. You need to stop overthinking everything. Kilowog threw punch after punch. Izuku was barely able to dodge them. That is until Kilowog tripped him up, causing him to fall on his butt. You still have a lot to learn, Kilowog said with his hand out. Here, let me help you out. Izuku went to grab his arm. Once he did, a fist hit his face again. You're too trusting of people. Your enemy, they won't play fair, and neither should you. Use every opening you find. Izuku looked more pissed off than anything else, creating a rug under Kilowog and pulled it, causing him to fall face first. Yeah, that sounds like good advice, thanks. How looks like you learned fast, newbie. Kilowog got up. I think we can make you into a fine green lantern. Izuku spent the next week undergoing extreme training with Kilowog, from sunrise to sunset. He even got to learn about the other lantern core: red symbolizing rage, orange, greed, yellow, fear, blue, hope, indigo, compassion, and violet, love. There are 2 others, one the black lanterns and the other being the white lanterns. He was told to avoid the black lanterns at all costs. Kilowog was a brutal but effective teacher. His methods had some questionable moral dilemmas, but no one could say he wasn't good at what he did. At times Izuku wanted to give up, but all he had to do was look up and gaze upon the hundreds of stars in the sky. He reminded himself of his past, what he had to go through just to be here, and with his resolve strength Izuku continued to work hard. It was now the final day of his training, and he was to meet the Guardians once last time before leaving. Entering the room, Izuku already looked different. He showed a higher level of confidence. It looks like a week really did change you, Izuku Midoriya, Ganthet said, looking at the boy. Thank you, sir, Izuku said, embarrassed. Izuku Midoriya from Sector 2814, though your training is incomplete, we chose to send you back to Earth, for we fear there will be a great deal of trouble in the near future to befall your planet. With the training you've done with Kilowog, you are ready to face anything that comes your way. Good luck, another Guardian said. Hearing his name, Izuku stood straight. Yes, sir, thank you. On behalf of the rest of the Guardians, make us proud, Izuku Midoriya, said Ganthet. I will do my very best, Guardians, Izuku smiled. Good, now off you go, the Earth needs you. And with that the Guardians left, leaving Izuku with the giant central green lantern power battery. As Izuku turned to leave, he heard a voice call out to him, Izuku, Izuku. Turning around, he saw no one around. Strange, I could have sworn I heard a voice just now. Maybe I've been hit too many times in the head during training. Grabbing his things, Izuku went to the launch pad outside the main building, Kilowog, and a few other Green Lanterns were there waiting for him. Well, this is it, guys. Kilowog walked towards Izuku, and without saying a word he drew his fist back ready to hit Izuku. Thinking fast, Izuku created a catcher's mitt and caught his fist. Looks like you did learn something, kid, Kilowog said, smiling. Well, I did have an awesome teacher, Izuku replied as the two shook hands. Take care of yourself, kid, Izuku nodded. Focusing, Izuku created a fighter jet and climbed in. I'll see you guys soon, bye. Closing the hatch, the jet began to float into the air before taking off at a high rate of speed. Earth UA entrance exam. Uraraka was standing in front of a large city. This was going to be the final test to see if she was good enough to get into UA. This was simple: take down as many robots as you can to earn points 0 to 3. Taking a deep breath, she calmed herself, and with eyes filled with determination, she was ready. Bang! As the door opened up, she ran in the giant city and began to target robots. Everything was going well until she began to overuse her quirk, causing her to become nauseous. Taking a short break, she stood on the street catching her breath. That's when the announcement was made. Warning, 0 pointer has now been released, better watch out. Uraraka looked up to see a giant robot began to appear from the ground, surpassing the buildings in height. Isn't that too much? She said as the giant robot swung its giant arms, destroying part of a building, sending parts of it flying towards the students. As she was standing on the street, Uraraka was caught by a piece of the building, pinning her under it, causing her to yell out in pain. Damn it, my leg is crushed, she said, trying to pull her leg free with little success. To make matters worse, the giant robot was now making her way. Is that thing not going to stop? Oh no, I'm going to get crushed. She tried to activate her quirk, but she was already at her limit. Other students ran past as she begged for help, but no one heard her as they ran for their lives. Dad, I'm sorry. Closing her eyes, Uraraka waited for the giant robot to crush her, but it never came. All she heard was the sound of it creaking. Opening her eyes, she found Izuku facing the 0 pointer. Man, that was close, wasn't it? He said, looking at her. Uraraka looked at the robot to find it tangled in a giant green net. Green Lantern! Hey Uraraka, sorry for not coming over for some cookies. I got caught up in some stuff. He smiled. It's fine, you can just come by tonight. Anyway, what are you going to do about that? She pointed at the robot. Oh, easy. Izuku let the net construct disappear to Uraraka's shock. What are you doing? It's going to crush us. Izuku smiled. Not on your life. Pointing the ring at it, Izuku created a small bullet and launched it at the robot. Piercing its body, the robot showed no signs of slowing down. Wait for it. Boom! A large explosion rattled the examination site. Izuku created a giant jar around the robot, encasing it and containing the fireball. Good, that was easier than I thought, he said, crouching down to Uraraka. That leg doesn't look good, hold on. Ring scan and diagnose. A beam of green scanned over Uraraka's leg. Analysis complete. Identified broken ankle, vital signs are normal. Risk to life low, advice to move to secure location and apply first aid. Thanks, Ring, now let's get that leg out from under there. Izuku created a green car jack and began to lift the piece of building off of her. Thanks, said Uraraka as she tried to get up. Hold on, what are you doing? Uraraka looked at him. You have a broken ankle, don't try to walk on it, you'll just make it worse. Pointing the ring at her, Izuku created a stretcher. Just then, multiple heroes landed surrounding Izuku. Green Lantern, you're under arrest. President Mike said. I just saved a bunch of your examinees and this is how you treat me? Wow, UA students must really have it rough here. Izuku put his hands up in surrender. You just broke into the school, do you actually believe we would just let you go? Said Midnight. Yes? I mean, realistically I can just leave and you guys won't be able to stop me. The only reason I'm staying is because of her, he said, pointing at Uraraka on the stretcher he created. She has a broken ankle and needs help. Let me take care of that, son. An old lady with a cane walked in between the heroes. I can heal her up, no problem. Is that you, recovery girl? Oh wow, huge fan of your work, by the way. Izuku's eyes gleamed seeing her. The one and only, now come let me heal her. Izuku moved the scruther closer to recovery girl. Kissing Uraraka on the leg, she was instantly healed. Good, you should rest, my quirk uses your energy to heal, so take it easy for a bit. Uraraka nodded. Alright, now that's all done, I'll see everyone later. However, before Izuku could fly away, Cementos created a wall in front of him. You think we'll just let you go? Izuku created a giant jackhammer, breaking the wall into pieces. I'm leaving. Wait, a voice was heard. Turning, Izuku found a small mouse/bear-looking creature approaching along with a skinny man wearing an oversized suit. Who are you? Asked Izuku. My name is Nizu, I am the principal here at UA, and if it's alright with you, I would like to have a few words with you if you have time, that is, he said politely. Is this some kind of trick? You're trying to lure me into some kind of trap, aren't you? Izuku said, puzzled. Currently not, I would never do that, promise. Nizu smiled. Yeah, I don't know you, so I don't trust you. Maybe another day, Izuku said, turning away. Very well then, another day, but how do we contact you? You can't, I'll contact you when I feel like talking. And with that, Izuku jumped into the air, leaving the heroes behind. Izuku returned to the orphanage where Sister Maria waited at the door. Izuku! She wrapped him in a hug. Welcome back, how'd it go? It went really good, Maria. I think I finally know what I want to do with my life, he said, pulling away from the hug. Really? That's great, Izuku. You can tell me all about it later. Right now I need your help getting lunch ready for the kids, said Maria. Alright, I'll go help you. Let me just put back my stuff and I'll go right now. Going up to his room, Izuku put his things away and went straight to the kitchen to help Maria prepare lunch for the kid. Once again, there wasn't enough to go around, so Izuku had a very small serving and let the kids have more. That night, while everyone was asleep, Izuku once again put on the ring and took to the skies, but he had to make one stop before he went to fight crime. Uraraka was in her tiny apartment waiting for the cookies to bake when she heard a knock on the balcony's glass door. Looking over, she saw Izuku waving at her. Getting up to slid the door open. Hey! You actually came, come on, and cookies are about ready. As Izuku walked in, he noticed how empty her apartment looked. Wow, this is a nice place you got here. You think so? I think it's rather small. She laughed nervously. Take a seat at the table, I'll grab you some tea. Her kitchen is about the size of my room, and she thinks this is small. Here, Uraraka handed Izuku a cup. Hope you like green tea. Thank you, and yeah, it's my favorite. Taking a sip, Izuku noticed it tasted different. Wow, this tastes really good. Really? It's just regular green tea. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you again for saving me both times, she said, taking a seat across from him. No problem, sorry I didn't drop by like I said I would, Izuku said, taking another sip of his tea. It's fine, really, I'm sure you were busy. The two awkwardly sat there, not speaking for a good minute. So, when do you know if you got into UA? Izuku asked, breaking the silence. Oh, I think they said in about a week. I've been meaning to ask, what's your quirk? Uraraka asked. Don't have one, said Izuku. What, don't have one? What about everything you did during the entrance exam? There's no way you did all that with no quirk. Uraraka practically jumped from her seat. No, really, I'm quirkless. My power comes from this ring. Izuku held up his hand. It's a powerful weapon that can create anything, the only limitation being my own imagination. Tell me to make something, anything. And what about a lighter? Izuku pointed the ring towards the table and created a small green lighter. Uraraka picked it up, and to her surprise it actually worked. Alright, how about an All Might plushie? Izuku once again created exactly what she told, picking it up. Uraraka felt how soft it was. Wow, and you can create anything you want. I need to be somewhat familiar with the object, but yes, anything I want, said Izuku, letting the lighter and the All Might plushie disappear. Wow, that is some amazing power. Why don't you become a hero instead of a vigilante? Asked Uraraka. That's a little hard to explain, but simply put, the ones who created the ring play by their own rules that I have to follow. Plus, I don't have the money for that, said Izuku. I see. Well, regardless of what they label you, you will always be my hero. She smiled. Izuku's eyes went wide when she said that. Imagines of Bakugo and All Might telling him that he couldn't be a hero played over and over in his head. And now this girl just told him that he, a quirkless boy, was her hero. Izuku's heart broke. Thank you, you don't know how many people said I couldn't be a hero. So thank you? Tears fell from his face. Hey, now don't cry, Uraraka said, panicked, not knowing what to do in this situation. Just then she heard a ding. Oh, the cookies! Running towards the oven, she brought the tray to the table. Here, have some, they will cheer you up. Taking one, Izuku took a bite. Thank you. Suddenly his mood changed. Wow, these are even better than last time. Uraraka chuckled. I would hope so, they aren't burnt this time. Izuku stuck around for a little while longer to just hang out and chat. The more he did, Izuku could feel something building in his heart. After a while, Izuku looked at the time and decided it was time to go back into the city. Sorry about this, Uraraka, but I should go check on the city before heading home. No, I get it, go and keep this city safe. Izuku nodded and walked towards the balcony. Oh, right here. Izuku created a small pager with a button. A pager? Uraraka looked at the green pager confused. Yup, if you're ever in trouble or in danger, just press the button and I'll be there, said Izuku. Really? That's really thoughtful of you. Izuku blushed. Anyway, make sure to always keep it on you. Bye. Izuku jumped into the air, still red-faced. Bye, GL, I'll see you soon. She waved as he left towards the city. After a long night of taking some thugs, Izuku went back to the orphanage, but little did he know just outside of Earth's atmosphere multiple different colored rings floated around trying to find a new host. The great danger that the Guardians said that would happen on Earth was fast approaching. Chapter 6, Rescue. It has now been 2 weeks since he saved Uraraka from the giant robot. It was only 1 week ago that she started school at UA, yet she still found the time to wave Izuku down as he flew across the city to have some cookies and chat. The night before, Uraraka had told him that today they were going to practice rescues in different environments. Izuku was bored out of his mind in his room. He spent the night saving a sinking fishing ship off the coast of Japan. Man, I'm bored, he said, laying on his bed. Just then there was a knock on the door. Izuku, you in there? It was Maria. Yeah, Maria. Opening the door, she walked in. What's up? I was wondering if you'd help shop from groceries, she said, putting her hands together. Sure, give me a second. I'll meet you downstairs, Izuku said, smiling. Awesome, thank you, Izuku. Closing the door, Maria went to get her bag. Izuku went to his desk and pulled the drawer, revealing the green lantern ring. I'd better take this just to be safe. Taking the ring, he put it in his pocket. After getting changed, Izuku walked down the stairs to find Maria in a white sundress. Izuku's eyes went wide when he saw her. What? Does it look strange on me? Maria asked, covering her embarrassed face. And no, you look amazing, it's just I've never seen you without your nun outfit. Izuku snapped out of the trance he was in. You really think so? Yeah, I wasn't too sure about wearing this, but since I'm still not a full-fledged nun, I can still wear stuff like this. Well, enough of that, let's go, she said, grabbing him by the arm and leading him outside. With Uraraka. Uraraka was getting along with her classmates, well, everyone but a certain kid called Bakugo. He was too hot-headed to even approach. Today they were going to a place called the USJ to train in rescue. After arriving, Uraraka was starstruck when she saw her favorite hero. 13 was one of the teachers who was going to be helping them. Uraraka kept the pager that Izuku had given her in the pouch of her hero costume. You never know when I might need this, plus he did say to always keep it on me. That's when things started to take a turn for the worse. Alright everyone, that will be all. We are now going to split you up and assign you an environment. Eraserhead, also known as Aizawa, explained when he felt something behind him. Turning around, he noticed a black portal opening up in the middle of the USJ. Sir, what is that? Asked the Electro user Kaminari. More bots? No, those are villains, Aizawa said, getting in front of the children. Shouldn't UA have security systems in place? The speedster known as Ida said, shocked. We do, but they must have someone disable them, said 13. Aizawa looked at his class. Everyone, you need to get out of here. 13, protect the students, he said, putting down his goggles. So what are you going to do? Your quirk works stealth, not one-on-one fights, Uraraka said, voicing her concern. Here's your first lesson. A hero is not a one-trick pony. And with that, Aizawa jumped towards the swarm of bad guys. Alright everyone, let's get out of here, 13 said, ushering the kids to the door, but he was quickly stopped by one of the villains. We wouldn't want you to leave so soon, the villain known as Kurojairi said, getting in front of the students and the door. We have a job today and we are going to do it, so I would appreciate it if you don't leave until this is over. Kurojairi was interrupted by 13 as she activated her quirk Black Hole, trying to suck up Kurojairi himself. Now everyone run, she ordered. Not so fast. Kurogiri opened a warp gate in front of him and one behind 13, causing her quirk to shred her costume and back. This caused 13 to fall to the ground bleeding from her back. Everyone run, she said before falling unconscious. Now that the teacher is out of the picture, it's time I do my job. Before Kurogiri could do anything else, Bakugo and Kirishima jumped at him, quirks at the ready. However, they soon found out that their attacks did nothing. How rude, now be gone! A black mist began to cover the students, sending them away to different locations. Uraraka and a few others were lucky enough to escape the portal and were now face to face with the villain. Well, it seems some of you are still here. Shigaraki will be very displeased if you manage to escape, Kurogiri said, about to activate his quirk again. That's when Uraraka noticed something. When he activates his quirk, that metal part stays in place. That must mean he has a body somewhere in there. Guys, aim for that metal thing. If my guess is correct, that's his weakness. Running in, Uraraka managed to touch the metal part, making him float into the air. Ida, now run for it. Go call for the teachers. Hesitating for a second, Ida stood in place, not knowing what to do. He was the class rep. He should be here fighting instead of running. Ida, what are you doing? Move! Hearing Uraraka yell made him snap out of it and run towards the door. Managing to get free, Ida ran as fast as he could towards the main campus that was a few miles away. No! Shigaraki is not going to be happy about this. He turned to the group of students. You! He yelled, looking at Uraraka. You are coming with me. Opening a portal underneath her, Uraraka fell through and landed in front of Shigaraki and the Noma. Oh, what's this? Shigaraki said. A new plaything for Noma. Uraraka looked around to find Aizawa face down on the floor, blood everywhere. Mr. Aizawa! Shigaraki, forgive me, but one of the students managed to escape, explained Kurogiri. However, I did bring the one who came up with the plan. You are lucky that you are our way out of here, Shigaraki said, scratching his neck. We should get out of here before the heroes come, but first, why don't we leave All Might a few bodies? Shigaraki grabbed Uraraka by the neck with 2 fingers. You don't know this, but my quirk allows me to disintegrate anything I touch as long as I have 5 fingers on what I want to disintegrate. Slowly he put finger after finger on her neck. And then, oh please no! Uraraka was too scared to do anything as the 3rd finger gripped her neck. Wait, the pager! I need to reach the pager. The 4th finger. Uraraka struggled to reach the pouch on her belt. Come, reach! Then to her horror she felt the 5th finger just as she grabbed the pager. You really are amazing, aren't you, Eraserhead? Uraraka looked over to her side to find Aizawa looking at Shigaraki with red glowing eyes. Now's my chance. Uraraka pressed the button on the pager. Enough of this. Shigaraki threw Uraraka to the side. Noma, deal with him, then kill the girl. The Noma grabbed Aizawa by the hair and slammed his head to the pavement with enough force to break it. Sliding on the floor, Uraraka watched as the giant Noma crushed Aizawa's skull, then changed its attention to her. Slowly it began to walk towards her, claws at the ready to finish her off. Please, Green Lantern, help me. The Noma let out a loud roar as it swiped down with its massive claws. Closing her eyes, Uraraka heard the roar followed by something, the sound of glass breaking, then nothing. Opening her eyes, Uraraka saw the glow of green in front of her. Hey Uraraka, sorry I'm late. Izuku turned and smiled at Uraraka. With Izuku a few moments ago. Izuku and Maria were walking out of the grocery with their hands full of groceries. Wow, I can't believe we had enough to buy this much, Izuku said, carrying boxes full of food. Yeah, thanks to those donations you brought, we were able to save some money. Anyway, come on, let's head back, Maria said. As the two walked down the street, Maria looked at Izuku. Hey Izuku, is there anything you want to tell me? What do you mean, Maria? Izuku said, raising an eyebrow. I mean, you come back from your little trip and you have a different aura. It's almost like you're a totally different person. Izuku started to get nervous. Could it be, you got a girlfriend? Izuku stumbled when he heard this. What? No, I don't. What makes you think I did? I don't know, just this gut feeling. Come Izuku, you can tell me. Maria teased him. Izuku turned red. Well, I did meet someone. I knew it. What's her name? Maria sounded excited. Achiko Uraraka, we met a while back and we've been talking ever since, he said. Oh, my little Izuku is growing up and here I thought you were going to end up alone, Maria said, laughing. Hey, that's not nice. said Izuku. Sorry. Well, anyway, just make sure to be careful, alright, Midoriya. Love is a complicated thing and can make you do some crazy things. Listen to your heart, but also remember to think about what you're doing. Her voice turned so serious. Whoa, she almost never calls me Midoriya. Only when I'm in trouble or about to get lectured. Izuku smiled. I know, Maria, I promise I'll be careful. Just then Izuku's ring began to beep and flash green. Oh no, that's the signal for the pager I gave Uraraka. She must be in danger. Izuku, what is that? Maria said, pointing at his pocket. Oh, that's... Izuku knew there was no getting out of this. Listen, I think it's about time you found out. Come with me. Izuku pulled Maria to a nearby alley out of the sight of anyone. Putting down the boxes, Izuku took out the ring and slid it on. As soon as he did, his uniform began to appear on him. Izuku, you're him. You're the Green Lantern. Maria dropped the bags of groceries. Yes, I am. Look, I'll explain everything when I get back. Right now, Uraraka needs me. Ring, where is Uraraka? Izuku said, asking the ring. Located, USJ, approximately 15 miles from your location. Izuku nodded and was about to take off when Maria stopped him. Izuku, wait, he turned to her. Be careful. I will, Maria. Izuku created a wagon to help her take the groceries back to the orphanage, and with that done he took off into the sky at a high rate of speed. USJ. So who are these guys? Izuku said, pointing at the giant beast that lay below a bunch of ruble. Those are villains, they broke into the school, said Uraraka. You bastard, what did you do to Noma? We need him to kill All Might. Shigaraki looked at Izuku. Wait, I know you. Yeah, you're that vigilante everyone is talking about. Yeah, that's me. The name's Green Lantern. Now I don't really appreciate you hurting my friend. The ring started to glow brighter. Isaac fired a green beam of energy at Shigaraki. Suddenly there was a loud roar and a flash of green. Izuku looked back where Noma was to find it gone. Looking back, he noticed it was now in front of Shigaraki. Nice try, but with the Noma here you won't be able to touch me. I see, then why don't I do this? Firing another beam Izuku at the Noma, creating a solid net covering most of his body. Now he won't be able to move. Shigaraki smiled. Are you sure about that? The Noma began to growl as cracks began to form around the net. Izuku focused harder on maintaining it, but every time the Nomu increased his strength trying to break free. He's getting stronger. Izuku grabbed his wrist to support himself. Noma, break out, Shigaraki ordered. With a roar, the Noma flexed, breaking out of the net, sending pieces of green construct flying. Impossible. Izuku put up his hands trying to shield himself from the broken constructs. Looking up, he saw Nomu appear right in front of him, pulling his arm back. *T. Thinking fast, Izuku created a bubble around himself as the hit connected. The impact was so great that it forced Izuku to the ground, his bubble shield breaking the ground and causing a crater. Man, he's strong, he said, rubbing the back of his head. Green Lantern, look out! Uraraka yelled as Nomu jumped at Izuku. With a double fist strike, Nomu hit the shield repeatedly. Izuku focused hard as he saw cracks appear. Lifting his fists up high, Nomu brought them down, breaking Izuku's bubble shield, causing an explosion of green energy. In the crater, Izuku laid seemingly unconscious with half of his mask ripped off and his face bruised. Very good, Nomu, now finish him off. GL, no! Uraraka yelled as Nomu's claws bared down on Izuku. Suddenly the sound of gunfire was heard. Izuku had created AM-16 shooting Nomu, filling him with holes. Ha, got you! The Nomu backed away, bleeding from the gunshot wounds. Oh no, Noma! Izuku smiled as Shigaraki yelled, shocked at what happened, then smiled. Is that what you wanted me to say? Well, tough luck. Super strength isn't his only power, you know. Izuku watched as the holes began to close. He has regeneration. Oh, come on, that's not fair. Izuku switched it up and created AM-124 minigun. The green bolts hit the monster, but it seemed to do very little as it walked towards Izuku slowly but surely. Seeing that the Nomu was now in close range, Izuku created two swords, slicing at its ankles, causing it to fall forward. Seeing his chance, Izuku jumped up and stabbed Nomu in the back. As it screeched out in pain, it quickly turned around, swatting Izuku away. Hovering, Izuku wiped the blood off of his lip. Damn, he's still not going down. Die! A voice yelled out, followed by a large explosion. Izuku knew who it was right away as flashbacks when he was a kid played inside his mind. Bakugo managed to hit the Noma with one of his explosions, knocking him back. That's when he noticed. Who the hell are you? I'm Green Lantern, listen. I appreciate you helping me, but this one is mine, Izuku said, which only pissed off Bakugo. What the hell did you say? Bakugo yelled out but was cut off when the Noma let out a loud roar. That voice, I've heard it before. You can yell at me all you want later, right now let's take care of this thing. Izuku created a suit of armor complete with a sword and shield around himself. At least that's something we can both agree on, Bakugo said as explosions rippled in his hands. Will you want to fight Noma? Very well, alright Noma, time to show them why we made you to kill All Might. With a wave of his hand, the Noma ran towards them even faster than before. Izuku saw the Noma disappear, then reappear behind Bakugo and raise his hand. Watch out! Izuku threw himself at Bakugo and raised his construct shield to defend him. But the shield proved to be no match for the giant fist. Shattering the shield, the Noma picked Izuku up by the neck and began to choke him. Struggling to breath, Izuku raised the sword and jammed it into its arm. Screeching in pain, Noma let go of Izuku, but before falling to the floor he managed to punch Izuku, shattering the breastplate on the suit of armor, which sent Izuku flying to a nearby tree. You bastard! Bakugo yelled as he jumped in and fired a full-powered explosion at the Noma. As the smoke disappeared, Bakugo was shocked to see Noma still standing. Impossible, he doesn't have a scratch. Using his explosions, Bakugo dodged most of Noma's attacks, but they still managed to scratch him. Izuku sat up against the tree. Alright Izuku, we saw how charging in got you. Why don't you think first? Ring power at 20%, recommend immediate recharge. The ring warned him. Great, now I'm almost out of power, I need to think of something fast. Izuku watched the Noma fight Bakugo. He analyzed, thought back, trying to look for any weak points. That's when he remembered something. That's it. He obeys the hand guy. If I take him out, he shouldn't act on his orders anymore. Looking over at Shigaraki, Izuku noticed he wasn't paying attention. Rushing at Shigaraki, Izuku managed to tackle and pin his hands, making sure they didn't touch him, putting a straitjacket on him. Izuku looked at the Noma. Hey ugly! The Noma stopped attacking Bakugo and looked at Izuku. If you want your boss here to live, I suggest you stop. Izuku made the jacket tighter, which caused Shigaraki to yell in pain. That goes for you too. He pointed at Kurogiri without looking. Both the Noma and Kurogiri stopped. Alright, easy. We'll do what you want, Kurogiri said, looking at the Noma and giving it a nod. Just don't hurt him. That's more like it. You have two choice. LST is to take your monster and open a portal and walk away. Second option is I beat the hell out you, and honestly I really hope you choose the second option, Izuku said, holding on to Shigaraki. Actually, there's a third option. Noma took a swing at the air, but suddenly a black portal opened in front of him, just big enough for this first to fly through. Kurogiri had opened another portal in front of Izuku's face. With no time to react, Izuku saw the giant fist appear from the portal, hitting Izuku square in the head, sending him flying. GL! Uraraka yelled out as he slid to a stop, not moving. Bakugo's eyes went wide when he saw what happened. The straitjacket around Shigaraki disappeared. Well, you certainly caught me by surprise, he said, getting up. But it seems you are still no match for the Noma, he said, walking towards Izuku. Damn it, still alive I see. Bakugo, we need to help him, Uraraka yelled out. Bakugo nodded, but as they tried to run towards him, the Noma jumped in front of them, stopping their advancement. Man, you are annoying. Shigaraki started to kick Izuku's side. Why don't you just roll over and die? After this I'm going to take this Noma and have some fun around the school. So many students, so many bodies. Kick after kick he delivered, breaking a rib on the last one. What scared everyone the most was the fact that Shigaraki was laughing the whole time. Throughout the USJ the students could feel their blood run cold. That laugh was something straight from a nightmare. Even those at the entrance stepped back in fear. Ring power level 10%. Out in space. The rings floated just above Earth. Suddenly the yellow-colored ring began to glow. New host has been found. Scanning for location. Identified, Japan. In a yellow streak the ring flew towards the ground. USJ. What do we do? Kirishima asked as he stood in front of his class near the entrance. We have to go help the green guy. Mina said but couldn't move out of fear. Why won't my body move? Come legs move! Todoroki said, yelling at his legs to move, but the fear kept him in place. Suddenly a large explosion was heard behind them. It's alright students, there's no need to worry anymore. Why? Because I am here! All Might had joined the fight. All Might! They all yelled. Thank goodness you're safe, students. That's when he saw 13 laying on the ground. Looking around, he noticed 3 people missing. Listen to me, the other heroes are going to be here any moment, so stay here. I'll go save Aizawa and the others. Going to the edge of the stairs, he saw 2 of his students, and in the future he saw someone getting beat up. In an instant, All Might appeared in front of Bakugo and Uraraka. Get behind me, kids! All Might! Bakugo yelled out, causing Shigaraki to stop beating on Izuku. Well, if it isn't All Might, so you've finally come to play, Shigaraki said, whipping his shoe of Izuku's blood. You bastard! Faster than Shigaraki could track him, All Might got Izuku and Aizawa, putting him down beside Uraraka and Bakugo. Take the 2 and head towards the entrance, the rest of the class is there waiting. Uraraka used her quirk on the barely conscious Izuku, and Bakugo carried Aizawa over his shoulder. All Might, wait! Ring analyzes quirks. Izuku raised his hand and pointed at the Noma. Quirks identified, super regeneration and shock absorption. The ring answered as Izuku passed out. Thanks, kid, I'll handle things from here now, get moving you too. They nodded and began to run towards the entrance with Izuku and Aizawa in tow. He may not be one of my students, but he has the heart of a true hero. It's time to pay villains! Noma, get him! Ordered Shigaraki. Noma ran towards All Might at full speed. As the 2 clashed, a shock wave was felt throughout the USJ entrance. Bakugo and Aizawa were the first to reach the entrance, then followed by Uraraka and Izuku. Guys, you're alright, Mina said, happy to see her classmates. Wait, who that? She asked. This is Green Lantern, he saved me from the Nomu, Uraraka said, deactivating her quirk and putting him down gently. He's the vigilante everyone's been talking about. He's so young, probably no older than us, Kirishima said, looking over Izuku. Suddenly there was a yell coming from the center of the USJ, where All Might was fighting that thing. Everyone rushed over to see All Might getting pulled into the portal by the Nomu. Oh no! Uraraka yelled out. If they close the portal while he's in it. She paused at the thought of what could happen. Out of the way! Todoroki pushed Uraraka out of the way, activating his ice. The ice traveled far, until it reached the Nomu, freezing the hand that had the grip on All Might. With its grip now loosened, All Might managed to break free, but held his weak spot. Thank you, young Todoroki! All Might yelled out. Man, this guy is tough, I need to finish this fast, my time is running out. Nice work, Todoroki, said Momo. It won't be enough. Everyone turned to find Izuku had gotten up, and was limping toward them. Green Lantern! You shouldn't be moving, Uraraka said, running to his side. But I'll be fine, it's All Might I'm worried about. That thing was designed to kill him, if this goes on any longer he's going to die, Izuku said, looking at the fight. Is there anything we can do? Asked Toru, the invisible girl. Izuku looked back at everyone. I know you're all scared, but I need you to trust me. This fight is going to be over soon. To the surprise of everyone, they felt a wave of calm befall them. They didn't know why, but Jiel's words were calming. This short moment of tranquility was interrupted by a large boom followed by a strong gust of wind. Looking back, All Might had taken a huge hit from Nomu. It was now or never. Izuku had to act. Everyone stay back, I'm going back in, he said, taking off. Jiel, wait! You should move, your injuries. Uraraka tried to warn him, but it was too late. Like a green bullet, Izuku flew towards All Might to back him up. All Might was breathing hard, his weak spot was bleeding, and his time was running out. He needed to do something. He watched as Noma once again charged him. Putting up his guard, All Might braced for the impact. Suddenly a green beam of energy shot across him, barely missing his head and hitting Noma. What the? Turning around, All Might saw Izuku heading his way. Looks like you need some help, All Might. Me? What about you? You're just as damaged as I am, All Might said, wiping the blood from his lip. Didn't think I would see you again, well, at least not here. Yeah, funny how things turn out. Look, he has shock absorption, right? You think you can overclock his absorption? Izuku asked. Yeah, I can do it. You said his quirk was shock absorption, not nullification. That means he has a limit on how much he can take. All Might smiled, looking at the villains. Good. Once you feel he's reached his limit, leave the rest to me. In the meantime, I'll make sure they don't interfere, Izuku said, looking at Shigaraki and Kurogyri. Very well, let's go. All Might jumped in to fight the Noma once again. Izuku, on the other hand, powered up once again. Tell me, why are you two doing this? Izuku asked, trapping the two villains in a box. We do this to rid the world of All Might. Kurogyri created a portal underneath them and popped out in front of the green box. But right now my objective is to kill you, he said, running at Izuku. I see, in that case. Izuku dropped his hand as Shigaraki lunged at Izuku, ready to disintegrate him. I don't need my ring to fight you. Ducking underneath his hand, Izuku elbowed Shigaraki hard in the stomach. Did you only think my ring was the only weapon I had? I don't need to solely rely on the ring. The Guardians and Kilowog trained me in hand-to-hand combat. That was the one area I excelled in. As Shigaraki fell to his knees, a strong gust of wind was felt. Izuku turned to find All Might punching the Nomu so fast and hard that he managed to lift him off the ground. Green Lantern, do it now! All Might yelled. With pleasure! Izuku rocketed towards the Nomu, tackling it, and he pushed it higher and higher. Sorry to do this to you, big guy, but if we leave you alive you'll just hurt people later, so now you die. Izuku constructed a large drill that dug into the Noma's chest. As it reeled in pain, Izuku pushed harder. Faster the drill spun until finally it pierced the Noma. Coming out the other side, Izuku floated in the air as it fell to the ground. As it did, the monster split into two halves and fell beside Shigaraki dead. All Might and the students looked on in shock at what Izuku just did. He just killed that thing, Kirishima said. Uraraka herself saw, surprised by the fact that he'd do something like that. There had to be a reason to kill it. All Might himself was in shock at what Izuku did. As the body hit the floor, he could see the now core of the Noma. Green Lantern! Why did you do that? He yelled out. Izuku floated down in front of All Might. What? I took care of the problem. What's the big deal? You just killed it! All Might shot back. Izuku turned to the body and back to All Might. Yeah? He's not getting the message. There was no reason to kill that thing. All Might thought, looking at Izuku with a stern look. You, Shigaraki voice broke through the face down Izuku was having. That was a present from my master. Suddenly everyone in the USJ could feel the bloodlust leaking out of Shigaraki. I'm going to make you pay for what you did. Go ahead and try it. You'll end up just like that monster, Izuku said as his ring began to glow. Gio, that's enough. In the blink of an eye, All Might appeared in front of Izuku. Raising his hand, All Might slapped Izuku across the face, sending him crashing towards the ground. Gah! What the hell, All Might? Izuku said, getting blood dripping from his lip. You won't kill anyone anymore, All Might said, standing over Izuku. Narrowing his eyes, Izuku slowly got up. Is that what this is about? If I hadn't killed him, he would have just come back, and then what? Would you leave him to other heroes to handle? Not everyone is as strong as you are, All Might. I took one life to save countless others. There are always other ways. If he did show up again, we could have handled him. All Might rerouted. 100 people? 500? No, maybe 10,000? Izuku said, staring at All Might. What? How many people would have died if he was allowed to leave? Said Izuku. All Might choked on his words. That's not the problem here. We could have avoided it. Yeah? How many people do you think they can kill? Izuku pointed at Shigaraki and Kurogyri. One has the power to disintegrate things just by touching them, the other can open portals. As the two were arguing, something crashed into the USJ. Everyone looked up to see something yellow in color float down towards Shigaraki. Tamura Shigaraki of planet Earth. You have the ability to instill great fear. Izuku's eyes widened when he saw what it was. No! Izuku pointed his ring at Shigaraki and was about to blast him when All Might jumped in and grabbed his arm. I said enough! All Might gripped down on Izuku, causing him to scream. Let me go! You don't understand, if he gets that ring it will mean certain doom. Then it happened. Welcome to the Sinestro Corps. Reaching out, Shigaraki grabbed the ring. When he did, the entire USJ was filled with yellow light. As the light disappeared, there stood Shigaraki, in black and yellow suit, and the Sinestro Corps logo on his chest. What is this? So much power! Shigaraki looked at himself. F***CK! Letting out an energy wave, Izuku pushed All Might away from him, and fired a blast of green energy at Shigaraki. Shigaraki didn't even flinch as he created a shield blocking the energy. Interesting, this ring is a different color but it has the same powers you have. Kurogiri, get us out of here, I want to do some testing. Kurogiri created a portal and warped the two of them out of the USJ. The fight was over, for now at least. Damn it, damn it, damn it! Izuku yelled out, cursing at the ground. He has a ring now. Izuku began to calm down. Ring power at 3%. I need to get out of here and think about my next move. Izuku began to take to the sky but was grabbed by the leg. What the? Looking down, Izuku saw All Might holding his ankle. And just where do you think you're going, young man? All Might pulled and threw Izuku to the floor so hard that it broke. There are things you need to answer for. But right now Izuku wasn't having none of it. Getting up, Izuku created restraints, pinning All Might to a nearby wall by the neck, arms, and legs. You're the reason they got away. If you hadn't stopped me, I could have stopped him. All Might tried breaking free of the restraints but found that they wouldn't even move. Innocent people are going to die and it's going to be your fault. Suddenly Uraraka and Bakugo appeared behind Izuku. GL, let him go, please, Uraraka yelled. Looking back, Izuku saw their faces. Just before letting him go, 3 shots rang out. Darting out of the way, Izuku was grazed on the shoulder, causing blood to drip from his arm. They're here! At the entrance, Ida had come back with reinforcements. Every teacher in UA was now standing at the entrance of the USJ. Izuku fell to one knee. Damn it. Just then Uraraka rushed to his side and whispered, Go to my apartment, I'll help you treat your injuries. Izuku looked at her and nodded, releasing All Might. This is far from over, expect to hear from me soon. And with that Izuku took off, breaking the ceiling and leaving the USJ. Chapter 7 Fear. Izuku flew over the city, bleeding from his injuries. He has a yellow ring, I need to find him. That's when Izuku felt a sharp pain to his shoulder, almost causing him to fall out of the sky. Lucky he regained his control before he crashed to the floor, placing his hand where he felt the pain. Izuku noticed that his hand was now covered in blood. Not good, I took too much damage from that fight. Ring power 1%, the ring notified him. I need to hurry. Izuku pushed himself to go faster, he wasn't that far away. Landing on the balcony, Izuku noticed the sliding glass door was closed and locked. Creating a lockpick, the ring began to unlock the door. After a second, he heard a click signaling the door was now open. As soon as he had one step in the door, he collapsed, succumbing to his injuries. With Uraraka. It was now an hour since the fight as the USJ, and the principal allowed them to leave campus early, and even gave them a few days off. Man, that was scary, Mina said as Class 1A walked off campus. I know, right, but at least they gave us these extra days off, said Kirishima. We were also lucky All Might and that Green Lantern guy showed up, Ribbit. Although I still don't agree with killing that thing, Tsu said, thinking back to the USJ. Uraraka, however, was silent. Why did he kill that thing? There had to be a good reason. For now I need to hurry home, he probably needs help. That's when she turned to her class. Sorry guys, I have to hurry back home, my parents are coming by later. I'll make sure to text you all, bye, she said, waving at them as she ran towards the train station. The class waved. Hey, did you guys find it weird that Green Lantern appeared and protected Achiko? Asked Mina. Now that you mention it, I did find it kinda weird, Momo said. She's hiding something. I'm going to find out what. I know I heard that voice before, Bakugo said, breaking off from his class. Getting off at her stop, Uraraka quickly stopped at a convenience store and bought some first aid to treat GL's injuries. Opening the door to the apartment, at first she didn't see him, that is until she went to the living room and found a young boy lying on the floor unconscious. GL, she said, running to him. Flipping him over on his back, she noticed the blood dripping down his arm. Finding the source, she quickly ripped his shirt and applied a citral pad, stopping the bleeding. Then she moved down, feeling at his sides. When she got to his ribs, he let out a wince of pain. His ribs are probably broken, she said, removing the rest of his shirt. When she did, she was taken back by the enormous bruise. There's not much I can do about the bruising, but I can stabilize his ribs. Carefully, Uraraka wrapped Izuku midsection with bandage wrap. She then moved on to disinfecting his open wounds and bandaging them up. After she was done, she had burned through all the supplies she bought. At least you look better now. I should move him to the sofa. Laying on the floor must be uncomfortable, she said. Activating her quirk on him, she moved him to the sofa. Going back to pick up trash, she noticed a green-colored ring. What is this? It must be his. I'll hold on to it until he wakes up. Inside Izuku's head. Izuku opened his eyes to find himself floating in an empty void. Where am I? Oh God, did I die? Izuku began to panic, but suddenly the empty void turned green in color. Turning around, Izuku saw the source of the glow. There, standing before him, was a young girl around his age, skin glowing green and wearing a green dress. Who are you? He asked, walking closer to her. Izuku, it's time for you to wake up, she said, pointing to the sky. That voice I've heard before, Anoi. Suddenly there was a light shining on Izuku that came down from above. He could feel it pull him. Wait, I have questions. Try it as he may, Izuku couldn't escape the pull from the light. The last thing Izuku saw was the girl whispering something, and with that Izuku woke up from his dream. Wait! He yelled, scaring Uraraka, who was in the kitchen making dinner. Rushing to his side, Uraraka noticed he was breathing hard and sweating. Hey, look me, it's okay, you're safe. Izuku looked around, and noticing he was in her apartment, he began to calm down. Thanks. Uraraka nodded. No problem, GL, how are you feeling? Izuku tried sitting up but couldn't due to his ribs being broken. I'm good, thanks to you. That's when Izuku could feel his mask was gone. Panicked, he began to touch his face. Looking down, he noticed his GL uniform was gone, as well as his ring. Oh no, she knows how I look like. You can relax, I won't tell anyone who you are, she said, pushing him back down onto the sofa. Why don't we try this again? My name is Achiko Uraraka. Can I trust her? I mean, she seems like a nice girl, and she did treat my wounds. Until she gives me a reason not to, I'll trust her, Izuku sighed. My name is Izuku Midoriya, you know me as Green Lantern. Thank you for looking out for me, Uraraka. Uraraka shook her head. I should be thanking you. Remember, you saved me and my class from that monster. Suddenly the sound of Izuku's stomach was heard. I'm guessing you're hungry? Izuku blushed. Why, yeah, sorry about that. Don't be, I was making dinner anyway. I hope you ramen, it's the only thing I can make right now, she said as he tried to sit up. Easy now, I don't want you hurting yourself any more than you are. Stay here, I'll bring you the food. Izuku shook his head. Thanks, but I think I can manage, he said, trying to get up, managing to get to his feet, but as soon as he tried to walk he collapsed. Lucky for him, Uraraka was close by and caught him, for he hit the floor. On second thought, never mind. That's what I thought. No, go sit back down. I'll bring you your food right now, Uraraka said, going back to get the bowls of ramen. Izuku looked down at his hand to find the ring was missing. The ring, it's gone. Putting the 2 bowls of ramen on a small table, Uraraka sat down beside him and pulled the ring out of her pocket. Looking for this? She said, holding up the ring. Here, she said, handing it over to him. Thanks, he said, taking the ring and sliding it on. No problem, now eat while it's still hot, she said, slurping up some noodles. Izuku with one arm managed to eat with little trouble. After enjoying the ramen, he thanked Uraraka. Now that really hit the spot. You're telling me, after everything we went through at the USJ, I needed this. Which reminds me. Why aren't you all green like how you were back when fighting the Nomu? She asked. To answer that, you have to know my power comes from this ring. As to why I'm not all green, it's because it ran out of battery, so to say. I need to charge the ring every 24 hours or it just becomes a regular ring, Izuku explained. I see, so do you need a wire or something to charge? Uraraka asked, looking over the ring on his hand. Izuku chuckled. No, nothing like that. As crazy as it may sound, I need a special lantern that I have back at the orphanage. He froze when he said that word. Uraraka's eyes went wide. Orphanage? Why the orphanage? Izuku looked away. It's 'cause I live there. Oh. Yeah. The air around them turned very awkward. So can I ask you something? Uraraka said, breaking the awkwardness. Sure, go ahead, Izuku said, turning to her. Why did you kill that thing? You've never killed anyone until now, she asked, wanting to know. I did it to protect you, protect your classmates, and protect others. Whatever that thing was, it wasn't going to stop. They could have locked it away, sure, but then you'll just be waiting for someone to break it out. The Green Lantern Corps taught me to deal with the enemy, and deal with it I did, said Izuku. While I am grateful that you saved my class and my friends, the heroes won't let this slide. They will be coming after you, Uraraka said with sadness in her voice. I know, that's why I'm going to speak with them, said Izuku, but he still saw that Uraraka was worried. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Besides, I don't answer to them, I answer to the Guardians, he said, patting her head. She smiled. Well, as long as you're alright, I won't stop you. On an unrelated note, how do you plan to go home? You're too injured to move. That's a good question. If the ring was charged, I would be able to fly home, said Izuku, looking at the drained ring. That's when Uraraka got an idea. Why don't I go get that lantern thing you were talking about? Are you sure? You would do that for me, Izuku said as his eyes gleamed. Yeah, sure, why not? It's the least I can do, you for saving me, Uraraka said, getting up from the sofa. You live in the orphanage just outside the city, right? Izuku nodded. Good, I'll go right now, I'll be back in a bit. Try not to move around too much. The bathroom is down the hall on the right. The TV remote is on the table if you want to watch something, she said, getting ready. Thank you for doing this, Uraraka. Oh, right before I forget, the lantern is in my room. Ask for Sister Maria, she'll show you to my room. She nodded as she walked out the door. After a bus ride outside the city, Uraraka was finally at the gate of the orphanage. Wow, this place is really run down, she said, staring at the old building. After a few moments, she decided to walk towards the door and knocked. Suddenly the door opened and out popped the two twins. Uraraka was shocked. She expected an adult to answer. Oh, hi, she said, looking down at the twins. Hello? Lisa said. Is Sister Maria here? I need to talk to her, Uraraka said. The twins looked at each other, and without saying a word left Uraraka. After a few seconds, the twins came back with Sister Maria. Hello, miss, how can I help you? My name is Achiko Uraraka. I am a friend of Midoriya. Before she could say anything else, Maria grabbed her hands. So you're the girl Izuku told me about, Maria said with excitement in her voice. Why, yeah, that's me. Actually, sister, I need to talk to you about Izuku. Is that alright? Said Uraraka. Yes, that's fine. Lisa, Levi, can you two give us a minute? The twins nodded and went away. So what would you like to talk about? Oh, Izuku needs me to get a lantern from his room. I know it sounds weird, but he's at my place right now and needs it, Uraraka said. I see. Well, if Izuku needs something, why didn't he come back here? Maria asked. Does she know who Izuku is? Wait, is Izuku injured? He went off to save her. What if he's hurt? Uraraka began to get nervous. Oh, you see, he twisted his ankle and is resting at my place right now. A likely story. Let me ask you something. Do you know who Izuku really is? Maria said, testing Uraraka. I have no idea what you're talking about. Midoriya is my friend and I just want to help him out. Uraraka's voice turned serious. I see, so you do know who he really is. So tell me what really happened, said Maria, crossing her arms. So I'm guessing you know he's Green Lantern? Said Uraraka, confirming. I do know. Tell me what happened. Uraraka proceeded to tell Maria what happened. How Izuku saved her class from villains, how Izuku was badly injured, and how he needed the lantern to get home. After explaining everything, Maria led Uraraka to his room to get the lantern. There they found the lantern. Good, now Izuku can get back here. Oh, and don't worry about his injuries. I treated them the best I could, Uraraka said, holding the lantern. Before you go, I want to tell you something. Maria's voice turned serious. I don't know you, or do I know what your motives are, and quite frankly, you rubbed me the wrong way. That being said, since you know Izuku's secret, I will trust you, for now. Uraraka turned to Maria with a face filled with determination. I owe Midoriya my life, so I promise you, I will never tell anyone who he is. I don't much about him, but I do know this. He is an amazing person who wants to do the right thing no matter what. Maria smiled. Well, I can see why Izuku likes you. Anyway, you should head out and remember no telling anyone. As Uraraka was about to leave, a voice came from the window. Oh, leaving so soon? Why don't you tell me where the Green Lantern is before you leave? They too turned around and from the glass window to find two people floating outside the window. Shigaraki! Uraraka said, jumping back. Crashing through the window, the two figures touched down on the floor. That's right, you don't know who I am. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sinestro. Now tell me where the Green Lantern is, Sinestro said as his ring glowed yellow. Maria stepped in front of Uraraka. Who are you? Like I said, my name is Sinestro, leader of the Sinestro Corporation. I am here to dispose of the new Green Lantern, so tell me where is he? Sinestro said as his yellow eyes sent fear into Maria's heart. We will never tell you, Uraraka said, gripping the lantern. Is that so? Well, I do have methods of getting what I want. For example, I'm sure you know what Shigaraki's quirk is, don't you, girl? It would be a real shame if something happened to this orphanage, Sinestro said, grinning. That's when Shigaraki stepped up. Tell me where he is. I have a score to settle, Shigaraki said, disintegrating the table. Uraraka stayed quiet, while Maria stood frozen in fear. We are getting nowhere. Shigaraki, do me a favor and kill everyone in this building. We will find the lantern soon enough, Sinestro said, turning his back on the two girls. Shigaraki face twisted into a smile. With pleasure, the ring around his finger glowed and created a bomb with a timer that read 10 seconds. Uraraka and Maria's eyes went wide. Turning to the door, the two ran as the timer read 8 seconds. Everyone run! Maria said, running down the hall. As she did, she saw the twins and picked them up. Uraraka ran in front of Maria. No, this can't be happening. Why is Shigaraki here? That's when her eyes went wide in realization. Did they follow me? No, that couldn't be. Then how? 2 seconds. As Uraraka ran, the lantern power battery began to glow in her arms. Before she could do anything, Uraraka was engulfed in a green light and teleported away along with the battery, leaving Maria and everyone else in the orphanage behind. Uraraka's apartment. Izuku laid on the couch watching some TV when all of a sudden the room was covered in a green glow. As the glow disappeared, he saw Uraraka and the power battery. You, Uraraka? How did you? He was cut off when Uraraka pushed the battery to his chest. Midoriya, quick, as Shigaraki is at the orphanage and he has a bomb. There's another. Izuku's eyes went wide. Suddenly there was an explosion that shook the building. And no. Uraraka's voice was shallow. Grabbing the power battery, Izuku slid on the ring and placed the ring on the battery. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Wearing his uniform once again, Izuku took off at top speed towards the orphanage, pushing past the pain of his injuries that were still not healed. Chapter 8: Despair. Izuku flew as fast as he could towards the orphanage. Please be still alive, he prayed as he made it to the orphanage, now a pile of wood and fire. Izuku looked on in horror at the destruction. Look who finally decided to show up. Izuku looked up to see Shigaraki and Sinestro floating high above him. Where are they? Izuku yelled out, his ring glowing brighter. If you are talking about everyone inside, they are most likely dead. Take a look, Sinestro said, pointed towards the broken building. Izuku floated down and began to dig, lifting logs and bricks, tossing them aside until he found something. In between the rubble he found one shoe belonging to Lisa and right underneath the shoe another that belonged to Levi. He knew what had happened to them. Tears began to run down his face. Then from his left Izuku heard the rubble move. Getting up, he quickly had his way towards the sound. There he found a white piece of cloth. This is Maria's dress. He threw the logs away and finally found her hand. Maria! After a few seconds he managed to free her from the rubble. Izuku's eyes widened as he saw the state she was in. Cuts covered her front, her face bled from the open wounds. Then he saw her back. It was scorched, and her skin turned to black from the heat. Izuku, Maria said, gasping for air. I'm here, Maria, I'm here. Izuku grabbed her arm, to which she winced in pain. The twins, are they safe? I tried to shield them, she said as his voice began to grow weaker and weaker. Izuku swallowed a lump in his throat. He didn't have the heart to tell her not now. They are fine, you saved them, he said, smiling, trying to comfort her. Maria smiled when she heard the news. Gee, good. Listen to me, Izuku, there is something you have to know. It's about your parents. Not now, Maria, save your breath, you need to hold on for just a bit longer, Izuku said as panic began to fill his voice. And no, listen, you have to know. With all her remaining strength, Maria managed to push through the pain and sit up to whisper something in his ear. Izuku's eyes went wide as she fell once again to the floor. No, that can't be. Her eyes were barely open now, but tears still ran down her face. I'm sorry, Izuku, for not telling you sooner. I'm so sorry, so sorry. Izuku felt her hand go limp. Maria, no. Please, Maria, wake up. You can't die like this. With her last breath, Maria smiled and said one final, I'm sorry. Closing his eyes, Izuku got up. Ring, scan for vitals. The ring scanned her body. Scan complete, vitals not detected. Person is deceased. Clenching his fist, Izuku turned to Sinestro and Shigaraki, who were just floating in the air. They were my family, he said as the green glow of the ring began to cover him. Sinestro looked around. Oh, I'm sorry, are you looking for someone to care because I don't? Why? Why did they have to die? Izuku said, yelling out, flying up into the air to meet them. Sinestro twirled his mustache. Why, you say? Simple, really, it's because of you and that ring. It's because you are a Green Lantern. So you're saying this is my fault, that their deaths were caused by me? Tears began to fall from Izuku's face. Simply speaking, yes, Sinestro said with a cold voice. Izuku said nothing as he hung his head. Can we move this along? I want to kill him already, said Shigaraki. Oh, very well, you may do as you please. Although it looks like he has lost the will to fight. Sinestro signaled Shigaraki to attack. Shigaraki pointed his ring and created yellow construct missiles and fired them as Izuku. He didn't move. The explosion that followed was massive. He didn't move, why? Uraraka got off 2 stops away from the orphanage. As soon as the bus left, she was knocked to the floor by a strong gust of wind. Looking up, she saw the fireball in midair. Oh no, Midoriya! Without thinking twice, she took off running, hoping to back him up, but she was still a mile away. As the fireball disappeared, there was Izuku. His wounds had opened up again and was bleeding. This was my fault. The glow around Izuku began to flicker. Shigaraki then appeared in front of Izuku, and with a powerful right hook to the cheek, he sent Izuku flying back. Thinking fast, Shigaraki created a wall, stopping him flying back farther. Getting in close, he began to beat Izuku. Punch after punch, Izuku didn't so much as flinch. The punches were so hard that the yellow construct wall began to crack. Stopping momentarily, Shigaraki grabbed Izuku by the neck, making sure no to activate his quirk. Fight back. Punch. Come on, fight back. Punch. Blood splattered over Shigaraki's face. Still Izuku did nothing. Then Sinestro appeared beside Shigaraki. It seems he wants to die. Odd fellow, why don't you put him out of his misery? Sinestro smiled. With pleasure, he said, throwing Izuku to the floor. As Izuku laid on the floor, the green light finally faded. Broke and bleeding, he laid now in his plain clothes. I'm sorry, Lisa, Levi, Maria. Izuku watched as Shigaraki dropped down towards him, with a hand outstretched ready to turn him to ash. At that very moment, Uraraka arrived. GL! She watched as her friend was about to be turned to ash. Suddenly a green energy beam came in and hit Shigaraki away from Izuku, sending him flying into the trees. Who dares? Sinestro said, turning to the source of the blast. Oh no. Flying down Kilowog along with multiple members of the Corp, landing in front of Izuku, they pointed their rings at Sinestro and Shigaraki, who was getting back up. Sinestro, I should have known you would come looking for the boy, Kilowog said, his ring glowing. Kilowog, how nice to see you again. However, I do find it really rude that you just barge in here. This is none of your concern, Sinestro said, putting up his guard. That's where you are wrong, Sinestro, a voice said, appearing behind him. Turning around, Sinestro found Ganthet behind him. Before he could even speak, Ganthet fired a blast of willpower at Sinestro. He quickly created a shield, but it would prove useless against Ganthet. The blast engulfed him, sending him flying. You should have left the boy alone. Sinestro! Shigaraki yelled after him. Creating a net, he caught Sinestro. You need to leave now, Sinestro said, breathing hard and as blood ran down his lip. Go into the city and take off your ring, I'll distract them. Shigaraki nodded. All right, I'll wait for your signal. Flying back towards the Ganthet. Well, it's been a long time, Ganthet. Yes, it has. Why are you on Earth, Sinestro? Ganthet asked. That is none of your business. Sinestro looked over at Izuku, who was being looked after by Kilowog. He's a special one, isn't he? Ganthet said nothing. Well, as much as I enjoy a good silent treatment, I think it's time I say goodbye. Pointing his ring in the air, Sinestro created a yellow ball of energy, and when it reached high enough it broke into hundreds of yellow construct needles. Lanterns, deploy shields, Ganthet said as he created a shield over himself. The other lanterns followed suit, creating shields over Izuku. That's when Sinestro and Shigaraki made their escape. Sinestro flew into space at top speed while Shigaraki flew towards the city. Damn Sinestro, he's getting away, Kilowog said as the construct needles continued to fall. That's when he noticed Uraraka dodging needles. What the? Kilowog created a rope and wrapped it around Uraraka's waist, to which he then pulled her under the construct shield. Stay put and look after him, she nodded. After a few seconds the needles finally stopped raining down. Kilowog looked down at Izuku and he was hurt badly. Ganthet the boy! Rushing to his side, Ganthet noticed Uraraka. She had a worried look on her face. Step aside for a second, don't worry, we are here to help him, Ganthet said. This calmed Uraraka down. Ganthet hovered his hand over Izuku. Just then a green glow began to cover Izuku's body. Uraraka watched as the wounds began to disappear. Amazing. There, that should do it. However, I fear it will be a while before he wakes up. We need to take him somewhere safe, said Ganthet. It's best if we move him off the planet, Kilowog said, giving his opinion. Excuse me, Uraraka said shyly. Everyone turned to her. If it's all right, we can take him back to my apartment. He can rest comfortably there, I promise. Ganthet looked at the other green lanterns. We appreciate the gesture, but... Suddenly the sound of sirens was heard. On second thought, let's go. It's still too soon for us to show ourselves. Take us there. They carried Uraraka in a green construct bubble. Leaving just before the police, she directed the rest of the green lantern to her apartment. Once inside, they put Izuku on her bed so he could get rest easily. How is he? She asked as she brought them tea. Physically he's fine, but it's mentally that has me worried, Ganthet said as Uraraka placed a cup of tea on the table. Thank you, dear. Losing one family member is hard enough, but he just lost everyone he considered family, said Kilowog. Ganthet took a sip of his tea. Now he has no family and no place to go. Ganthet, what should we do? I don't know, Ganthet said, hanging his head. He can stay with me. They turned to Uraraka. He doesn't have anywhere else. He can stay with me. I know what it's like to lose a family member. Maybe I can help him get through this. She does know his identity. I'd say give the girl a chance, said Kilowog. Ganthet smiled. Uraraka, was it? You have an amazing heart. You, my girl, are very compassionate. Ganthet, there is still the main reason why we came here, Kilowog reminded Ganthet. That's right, Uraraka. Would you be able to take us to this place called UA? We have been monitoring Izuku's movements since he left OA, and it appears we need to have a talk with UA and these so-called heroes, Ganthet asked. Uraraka nodded. Yeah, actually Midoriya was going to do the same thing tomorrow, but now... I'm going. A voice was heard from the hall. Everyone turned to find Izuku standing there. Midoriya, are you sure, after what happened, you need to take some time off? Uraraka was cut off by Izuku. I'll be fine, Uraraka. He gave her a smile, and she didn't like that. But... She tried to voice her concern, but Izuku cut her off. I'm fine, he snapped at her. I'm sorry. She grabbed his hand. It's all right, look, if you really want to this, then fine, I won't stop you. He nodded. So what's the plan? We just show up at UA. That's the plan, unless you have a better one, Kilowog said. Wait, everyone turned to Uraraka. I have an idea. The next day. No one else was on campus except for the teachers. So what do we know about the villains? Asked Aizawa. Not much, only that they call themselves the League of Villains. Nizu, a small bear-slash-mouse-looking creature, said, going over the report. What about the Green Lantern? All Might said. Nothing yet, however there was a sighting yesterday, said Naomasa, the police detective. I still can't believe he killed that thing. Honestly, I think it was a good thing that he did, Aizawa said over the phone since he was still in the hospital. You can't be serious? Said Midnight the 18-plus hero. I'm always serious. If he didn't kill that thing, then it would have killed everyone in the USJ, he said as Recovery Girl wrapped him in some fresh bandages. Even so, there are other ways he could have dealt with the threat, All Might said, punching the desk. Regardless, there is a warrant for the Lantern's arrest in place. Any and all heroes are to engage him on sight, Naomasa said. Suddenly the alarms in the school began to sound. What's going on, Nizu? Asked President Mike. A screen appeared in the middle of the table, showing inside the quad area. It appears someone is on the campus. Oh, what's this? It seems one of your students, All Might, and she accompanied by someone you've been looking for. Standing up, All Might looked at the screen and it showed Uraraka with Izuku by her side. Everyone follow me! All Might took off to confront Green Lantern. In the quad area, Uraraka and Izuku looked around. So do you think he's going to show up? Izuku asked. Uraraka nodded. He will. Suddenly something hit the ground hard, kicking up dust and debris. Speak of the devil. Green Lantern! You are under arrest, All Might said, pointing at Izuku. Look, I'm not here to fight, I just want to talk, Izuku said, putting up his hands. There is nothing to talk about. You murdered and you were going to murder again. I have to stop you right here, right now. All Might jumped at Izuku. But Izuku isn't playing any games. He quickly fired off a blast of willpower, knocking back All Might. He slid on the floor until he came to a complete stop a few meters away. Izuku quickly floated above him and pointed his ring at him. I said I'm here to talk. Back at the USJ, I held back against you out of respect. Don't make me show you what I can do. I'm really not in the mood to play games, he said as the ring began to glow. All Might started up, looking at the ring's glow. That's enough, young man, a voice said a few feet away. Izuku looked up to see Nizu walking towards him with the detective and other teacher behind him. You said you had something you wished to discuss? Yes, I'm here to talk about what happened and what he's responsible for. The people he let die, he said, motioning to All Might. Those are some serious accusations. Why don't you let him go and we can discuss this? Nizu said, trying to compromise. What guarantee do I have that you won't just attack me like he did? Izuku said, looking back at Nizu. All Might, do you promise not to attack him until we hear him out? Nizu asked the fallen hero. Very well, as long as he doesn't do anything to the school, I won't do anything, All Might said in a defeated tone. Your word means nothing. That's when Uraraka stepped up. GL, trust me when I say he won't do anything. You do trust me, right? Izuku turned to her. Yeah, I do. Izuku let the glow of the ring disappear. Fine, I'll trust your word, Uraraka. Izuku made his way to Uraraka, letting All Might go. Nizu and the teacher noticed the shift of tone when GL was speaking to Uraraka. Very well, let's go inside. Wait, I never said I was alone. This had the other puzzled. You can come out now, he said, talking to his ring. Suddenly Kilowog and Ganthet appeared in front of Izuku. Hello, my name is Ganthet, Guardian of the Universe. We have much to discuss, he said, talking to Nizu. After everyone won, Ganthet explained who he was and who were the Green Lanterns. So let me get this straight, he's part of an intergalactic police force that goes around helping people on other planets, with weapons that run on willpower, and seem to have no limit to their power? All Might said. In a basic sense, yes, Ganthet said, taking a sip of tea Nizu had offered them. Oh, this some good tea. To think aliens exist, Nizu said, falling back on his chair. Well, believe it, you're looking at one right now. Kilowog motioned to himself. So you see, a Green Lantern is far above your rules and we want you to leave him alone, especially now that there is a Yellow Lantern on your planet, Ganthet said, putting down his tea. Nanomasa wrote everything down on his notepad. That's going to be difficult. He has to follow our rules. That means no killing. No, I won't follow your rules. Too many innocent people already died because you stopped me from killing Shigaraki, Izuku said, slamming his hand onto the desk. You said All Might was responsible for the deaths of some people. Care to explain? Said Nizu. Do you know of the orphanage that was on the outskirts of the city? Nizu nodded. The people that were taking care of me, they were like my family. But Shigaraki found them and killed them. Izuku clenched his hands. He killed every single one of them, all because he stopped me. The room fell silent as Izuku grinded his teeth. Uraraka went over and hugged him from behind, trying to comfort him. The actions you took against the lantern resulted in their deaths, All Might. You claim to be the symbol of peace, but you failed to do what needs to be done to keep this world safe, Ganthet said, speaking up. Here on Earth we believe that everyone deserves a second chance, even villains, said Nizu. And what if they don't change? Can you live knowing that they killed more people because you let them free? Ganthet retorted. Nizu was about to speak but stopped. The words wouldn't come out. As I thought, I am here not to ask you to stop, I'm telling you to stop. Get in his way again and you will all face our judgment, he said as Izuku, Kilowog, and Uraraka began to get up to leave. And what about you, young Uraraka? Do you believe I made the right choice? All Might said, stopping them. Uraraka back at All Might. What I believe doesn't matter, what does is that I want to help, no to save people. Take one life to save countless others? I don't know, maybe I'll find the answer someday. Right now he needs my help and I intend to help him. I'll see you all in class. And with that she walked away from the meeting. So what do we do? Asked Midnight. The police chief will not be happy about this, but I think we should leave him alone, Naomasa said, looking down at his notes. All Might didn't like that. Are you crazy? We can't allow him to continue this. I won't allow it. Maybe there is something we here at UA can do. He wants to be a hero, yes? Then why don't we offer him a spot here at UA, as a sort of temporary position, as a work-study kind of thing? That way we can monitor his movement, that is if he accepts, Nizu offered. I still don't like it, but it's a temporary solution. I'll get in contact with him, All Might said, getting up from his seat. No, said the voice of Aizawa over the phone. He blames you for the deaths of his loved ones. Once I'm good enough to walk, I'll meet him. Nizu sighed. Very well, but you will heal first. Izuku was taken back to Uraraka's apartment. They talked about the green lanterns and told Uraraka how Izuku got this power. Kilowog even told Izuku some tips on how to deal with the yellow lanterns. It was now night time and time for Ganthet and Kilowog to leave. So can we leave him in your care? Asked Ganthet. Yes, I promise you I will take care of him, Uraraka said, smiling. Good, we'd hate if something bad happened to the twerp, Kilowog said, messing with Izuku's hair. This caused Izuku to smile slightly. Thank you for worrying about me. Of course, now if you have problems with the heroes again, contact me and I will come down here again. Remember, Izuku, if a yellow lantern appeared, then that means the others will follow. Izuku nodded. Oh, and one more thing, Izuku, don't hold in your emotions, they will only cause you further pain. Izuku and Uraraka watched as they took off into the sky, leaving the two on the balcony. They waved goodbye as they flew higher into the sky and disappeared from view. The pair made their way inside. As soon Uraraka stepped inside, she was immediately hugged by Izuku. This caught her by surprise at first, but then she heard the sound of him crying. Uraraka hugged him back. It's okay, Midoriya, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. Unknown bar. Shigaraki made it back to his hideout. Walking inside, he found Kurogiri cleaning cups. Oh, Shigaraki, you're back. Did you do it? Did you kill the lantern? No, I was about to when some of his friends showed up and stopped me. Now Sinestro said he would come back, but I don't know when. Shigaraki sighed. Whatever, I'm going to rest for a bit, do not disturb me. Wait, Shigaraki, there is actually something waiting for you in your room. I don't know what it is, but it's covered in a yellow glow. Shigaraki's eyes went wide. Going to his room, Shigaraki found a yellow construct box on his bed. Going to it, he opened it, and inside it had a yellow lantern battery. Shigaraki smiled. Perfect, with this ring I can help Master achieve his goal. Outside of UA, all was quiet. Everyone had already gotten home for the day. The outline of something was seen walking along the walls of the school due to there being no lights. You couldn't see what it was, but all you saw was the glow of yellow eyes was seen. However, these were not the eyes of a person but rather a cat. As it walked out of the shadow, a red suit covered its blue fur. Meow, finally walking completely out of the shadow. The glow of a red power ring was seen on its tail. And there you have it, fellow Cosmic Crusaders. Another chapter of What If has come to a close, but fear not, for the journey is far from over. Remember to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a beat. Keep those creative juices flowing, and until next time, stay stellar. This is Chronos signing off.